That's so exciting, and it's so amazingly attractive.
Yeah, you're not laughing now, are you?
Well, I'm not laughing now because, as you can see, this is incorrect. It ain't been long. I have got ChatGPT working away in the background. Oh, that is GPT-4, by the way. Let me sort this down. I've got my other camera, but that is not it. All right, camera. You beauty. Look at that. When you can see that, you know we're on. And we are live and we are direct. Will that go? Stable diffusion. Hit it. All right, people. Lovely to see you. Is Blogs in? Is Billy the Niggler Blogs? Show yourself, Blogs. Hello, Emma. Hello, David. Good to see you. Good to see the pair of you. I met a scrub today. I'll tell you what, I also watched the Devon Tracy video where he referred to a couple of leftists. He went, they were fools, they were beaters, they were idiots. And he went, these three scrubs on the left. No, I will be WhatsApping him about that and hopefully get a broadcast. Oh, I've got the wrong lights on at that end. Hopefully get a broadcast. What do they call it? Withdrawal. I've had a few of them. Oh, who's been lifting weights? Who's been lifting weights? Who's got back on the muscles? Who's got back on the bars? Hello, Nick. Good to see you. Toffee's on the phone. Mr. Toomey. 42's in. Hello, mate. Son of Max. Been a while. How are you, son? Hans. How are you, Mr. Verst? See, I went with the verse there. Just a little thing we do. You know, hello, Mr. Lartus. I don't know where Lartus come from. Hang on, what have I done there? I've contracted it. Where did the Oh, yeah, of course. I've contracted it, but to the point where it became nothing. I've contracted Lumi and its own origin, haven't I? Illuminatus, and we ended up with Lartus, which is obviously staying now because that's how things work around here. Nice to see you, Lartus. Barney Rubble is here. Hello, Carl. You're all right, mate. No problem. These things do occur, but thank you very much. Right. It's a fair question, Lartus. When is last year's members stream taking place? Well, probably at some point in the new year. And I'm using a different calendar to most. You know what, Lumi? In fairness, I will do something. I will achieve member. You know what, Lumi? I'll be honest with you. It is a very fair question, and I do sincerely apologise for a lack of them. The thing is, something isn't working with the membership streams because the few I've done, I think the most we ever had was like 13 people. And it was excellent because it was really good fun there was about 8 of us on the screen and a couple of them kept changing. Not like on the screen, morphing. But and then everyone's like, oh, I missed that. I need to work out a better system. You know, it's not for lack of streams, is it? I stream, recently, obviously, for obvious reasons. I haven't been streaming a lot. But I'm going to have a think about it and work out how I'm going to make it so that it works for everyone. I might have to do it. I might just have to do a mega one because I think the question is time. So if I do like a mega 3-hour members stream, our American and Australian and even America, you say America, our people on the East Coast will be able to watch it, but the people on the West Coast will be well asleep. So it'll be a question of finding the time and when our UK people, which does make up about 80% of my viewers, when everyone can see it, but that might mean a mega stream. All right, Lumi, fair play. I will do something about it. 42 says that Blogs is missing. What? The Niggler is on the missing list. That's what, really? because he is busy in the lifeboat, isn't he? Usually, as far as I can see, busy getting the absolute shit ripped out of him. Hello, RMF. Hope you're well, mate. Hello, Andrew. Good to see you. First time watching. How do you know if it's good to see, how it's good to see me back then? If you've seen a video I've made or something, and this is your first live, that's not very nice welcome, is it? Accusing you of deception. Hello, EB. What are you going on about? Well, it's lovely to see you as well. Excellently crafted beard and haircut. I don't know why, but there's something about the balance you've achieved there that's pleasing. Yep. Hello, Henry. All right, son. Picard, 2, Anglo, 2. You know what? I've just eaten one. It was the rarest steak I've ever eaten. And there were times, because I'm back on lifting weights, you know, I've got to be back. I'm back on the steaks. People, if you're going to lift weights, you've got to get on the chicken, the tuna, the steaks. You've got to. I mean, diet has got to be about 90% of putting on muscle mass. Anyone in the chat want to disagree with that? I'd love to hear your input because I might learn something, but also I think a few of you might agree with me. But you know, I've got a mate, and he just sent me his he said, I've bought some weights. He's got like a standard bar where the dumbbells at the end unscrew, so it's like a standard bar that turns into dumbbells. And he gave me his schedule, and I just thought, fuck me, you know, and he's about my age. I think he's a little bit younger. I thought if I'd done that schedule, I'd be dead. I'd be so knackered, you know. And I get it that he's going for it, but yeah, I don't think it's not fair to share it with you. Although actually, he's a nice bloke. He wouldn't mind, but you know, I think he was. I don't. Thank you. I'm not varting anymore because I want to cut bits out of videos, but I definitely will deal with that in a bit. And this is why I want blogs to be here. If anyone sees blogs turn up, I need to apologise to him. So that's why I want to see blogs here. But anyway, I'll move through a few there. So hello, EB. Hello, Henry. How are you, Henry? All right, mate. It's always a pleasure to see you here. Hello, Picard and Mr. Saxon. Yeah. So yeah, it was the rarest steak, and there were moments when I was eating it where I thought, am I just tearing into the flesh of a cow? Which obviously I am, but you know, culturally we've distanced ourselves from what it is. And speak of the devil, I've just looked at my entropy, and it's Anglo's made the donation. I haven't seen you. Yeah, I'll put that on the screen when I get to it, Anglo. But I've started clumping the donations together so that they don't interrupt the flow of conversation. So it will get read. But I've just read it, and it's a lovely sentiment. Thank you, mate. Hello, Mr. Edge. Good to see you. So blogs ain't here. Hello, humans. Hello. Oh, I've had you. I'll tell you what, son of Max, I've had you. Hello, October. Mobius, not the Mobius. Who is the Mobius? Is he in a band? Is it? I like that. Is he at a strip joint? Yeah, you get it. Yeah. Watcher, I haven't seen you in a couple of years. Well, thank you for that donation. I tell you what. I've got to stop saying that as well, because that's just the same as a VAR, isn't it? When I try and cut out little shorts, I think people know that I thank people for donations. I've just got to let myself do it. Mobius, I'm terribly worried that you're going to sit here and after about 10 minutes go, yeah, that's why I stopped watching. She's look at me showing me age, like 100 years old, switching off the telly. Yeah, that happens. Anyway, I made a phone call. Or Mobius, you might see that I have too developed and changed with time, and it might be everything you were waiting for, and you'll be you might absolutely love it. Lovely. Son of Max says a blue steak. Let me know in the chat how you like your steaks. Seriously, let me know, because I will have them a bit red. I like them a bit. You know, it's the middle of the road as well, but it's medium rare for me. If not a little bit more than medium rare. Well rare. But you know, there were bits on the plate that I looked at that just looked like bits of raw food, animal flesh, which again, I ain't going around in that circle anyway. Son of Max likes a bluey. Hebe, that's correct. First live, there you go. But I've been watching the Dragon's Den content. Funny you say that about the balance. Matched a girl on Tinder once, and her opener was, "You've got a very symmetrical face." Look at, there you go. There you go. Work it all the way, because we're attracted to symmetry. It's reassuring. You know, I'll tell you, there's an interesting one actually. Out of all the micro expressions, like quarter of a second things that you can't control, you know, that's why they're beautiful. You know, I was thinking about the whole idea of non-verbal communication, known as body language, but that gives me a bit of a cringe. Body language. It's just non-verbal communication, and we're always doing it. And I realized, you know, as a writer and as someone who's interested in language and being from the post-structural school of linguistics, which some would argue is neither a school or post-structural, it's almost like spoken language. You know, people say, "Oh, we all lie, we all tell lies," you know, and we all do lie, we all do tell lies. But I was thinking, you know, and this has been going through my head for the last few weeks. I'll get back to symmetry. Remind me about symmetry in a minute, and faces. But it's almost as if verbal communication, whether it's writing or speech, is almost like the way we found out to communicate with each other the best way possible, where we can get our message across without telling the truth. And I mean that. I mean it. It's like a theory I've stumbled upon. You know, it's tactful, it's polite, but it's not the truth. You know, we can go to very basic examples of this. Bump into someone in the street. "Hello, mate, how are you?" You don't want to know. You don't want to know. You don't want to know. And especially if they answered, we talked about this the other day. "Well, I'm not so bad. You know, I've got a bruise just on my ankle," which is weird because I've got a blister on my heel, and I owe this geezer 300 quid. And, you know, and all that stuff together has started making me feel a little bit like I don't really know where I am in life. I'm in a bit of a, you know, that's a question. The only time you really want to know is if you're a therapist. "How are you? How are you feeling?" That's what a therapist asks and wants the truth. When you say that to someone in the street. So it's like, as humans, we've developed a way of communicating without telling the truth, which is, that doesn't mean we're lying. It just means that, like all storytelling, it's about what we leave out, and verbal communication has done that. But what we call body language doesn't give us that. You know, micro expressions, you can't stop them. They're like that. They're that quick. And the thing I was saying about your symmetrical face, the only micro expression that isn't symmetrical is contempt. Some people call it disdain. It's that sort of sneer, but it can be more subtle than that. It can just be like a little, you know, a wry smile. But it's that quick. Like, see that there? I tried to flare one nostril. It's very hard to do these things. But, you know, I'll tell you what, if you're having a debate with your missus and it's on video, be a psychotic loony and video it, and then watch it on quarter speed. And as you watch it, you'll see her going. And you'll be fucking hell. And note what words and phrases are accompanied with like anger and fear and, you know, those sorts of things. And then when she mentions that bloke that you think she pays a bit too much attention, and you see her little micro expressions where she sort of looks up, or she eye blocks, you know, she shuts her eyes when she mentions Colin, when she gives it the old, you keep accusing me of fancying Colin. She doesn't want to see you. She doesn't want to. She wants to shut the world out. When old Colin's mentioned, I don't know why it's going to be to do with my power settings, isn't it? Hang on, system. Let's go, system. Let's go, display. Let's go, display. I'm doing best to make change in what time my screen turns off. It's not 5 minutes, is it? Screen, when plugged in, change it to 1 hour, and that will tell me it's time to stop. It's already nearly 2 o'clock in the morning here, so this won't be a long one, people. Emma G's on the phone, though, so I do know it's a call-in show. We will get there. Right, any subject I've started that I haven't quite finished so far? Just the 30. Hello, John B. Hoyt to that. Hello, Andy Mack. So that's what I was going to say to you. Oh, hang on. He's getting his new granddaughter's bloody AM in the chat for Andy Mack's new granddaughter, you lovely bastard. Speaking of granddaughters and that, Andrew Mackenzie's on the firm tonight. He's got a lovely couple of twins, granddaughters. I tell you what, and I'm sure Andrew won't mind me saying this, but Andrew's life, he's given me some quite detailed emails about his struggles. And when I'm complaining about things in my life to myself and walking around, some of the things Andrew has to do on a daily basis or weekly basis, I just think, I don't know where he gets the strength from. And then he sends me a photo of his twin granddaughters, and I think, that is something I don't know. I haven't had children yet, but you know, I don't know what that. But I sort of get it. You know, I am a man nonetheless. I sort of get it. And there's one picture of his son walking down hospital wall with both kids, like one twin in each arm, and he's from behind. It's a wicked picture. So yeah. So good luck with that, Andy, and congratulations, mate. Thank you, Anglo-Saxon. I haven't seen you in weeks. Proper chuffed to see you again. I haven't, because my mother died and that, Anglo, and obviously there's a lot of other stuff to sort out, which has meant work's all backed up, and I haven't done any writing. I've got some good news on that, though. I haven't done any writing, and so I think I've done 2 streams, and I will be getting back into it, but obviously slowly because I'm knackered and that. But if I can lift weights, I can stream more. Thank you for the donation. I know there's a few more donations in. Don't forget, people, entropy at the top, super chat at the bottom. You decide, but they are much appreciated. I'm Brassic, you're Brassic. I get how it works. A scrub is in Cambodia. Now, he wants to remain anonymous. Or I think he does, but if he turns up in the chat and says, no, it's me, okay, that have I just said to tell everyone to say it's me. But met him for a cup of tea, and nice bloke, really nice bloke. Comes down from my manor, sort of southeast England. I think we were there for a couple of hours, couple of cups of tea. We had some chicken pitters. Not bad at all, you know. I had one of those like Moroccan mint teas in a nice little, very delicate and feminine looking sort of teapot is the word I'm looking for. He had a couple of cups of English tea. We had chicken pitta each. I think it was about $14, so about tenner. Can't go wrong with that, can you? And then she give us half a daily. Then she give us half a mango. But I said to the scrub who's in town, I said, I'll tell you what, you've got to go out. He likes to drink now and again. I said, you've got to go out up the streets of ill repute, the ladies of easy leisure, even just to go out for a drink and experience the madness of going into a bar that's got 20 beautiful semi-naked women in it who do actually want to talk to you, and you can have some really nice conversations with. And it's weird. It's weird because you're not even allowed, as I said to him today, you're not even allowed to talk in England. Imagine going into a bar in England and going up to a woman and starting talking to her. You'd probably get arrested. She'd stab you and you'd go to prison. Where over here, they come up and chat. All they want is for you to buy them a drink because then they get like a little kickback. And most of did you hear that snort then? Little micro, they get a little kickback. Most of the time they just get a glass of water with a little bit of vodka in it, so the punter thinks they're drinking, because alcoholics like other people to be alcoholics. If you're a heavy drinker, you like other people to, because it makes you feel better. And if the girl just comes back and goes, no, I'm drinking water, the old fella, like, oh, hello darling, thinks that she's not drunk and she'll never like him. So they a lot of them just sort of play the game. But nice conversations, it's not bullshit. They don't sit going, oh, you're lovely, you're the bit, they just talk about their lives and your lives and you have a chat. It's all right. And so after our cups of tea, I said, go on, jump on the back of the motorbike. I'll take you up there, show you where it is, burned up there. And I tell you what, I've met it's got to be about 20, not including Dangerfield's Chinese prescription in real life meetup. If we don't include that, I think I've met 15 to 20 scrubs in real life out here, I mean. And today's was the only one who didn't say anything alluding to, didn't even get close to it. And this isn't me judging all the others who did, because it's understandable why they'd say it. But everyone else has, if not said outright, has alluded to the fact that, has referenced the fact that they know quite a lot about me, and they're not a complete stranger, but I don't know. I haven't spent hours upon hours listening to them expose the horrific life they've had on YouTube. Didn't mention it once. And I knew straight away that there was a certain character there that was kind of interesting, because I thought that is really interesting. And we just got into it. Lovely afternoon. And it was a nice day. And I tell you what, it was boiling hot. I put a nice cravat on, shirt's got rust stains on it from the bloody braces. But it pissed down with rain. But we were sort of in this cafe with a little awning. And then when the rain, because it's monsoon season, it started early, but, it doesn't rain all day in monsoon season. It stopped in about an hour, and then it was nice and cool. Chucked him on the back of the bike, burned up there, driving around. He got to see a bit of he only arrived yesterday. I said, how's the jet lag? He went, I work nights. I'm always nothing. Sweet. Anyway, right, just something I want to talk to you about just quickly that come up about 10 minutes before did you see me pretending to be looking at my other monitor then going, I was just having a massive drag on my vape. I was doing nothing. And I'm doing it again now. Now I'm telling you, but I'm going to use the doing it again as another. Rags is on the firm, he's on the firm. Rags is on the firm, he's on the firm. All right, Rags. James reckons it's 60% diet, 20% rest. Absolutely. This is the other thing about my mate's schedule. It's like 6 days a week and 1 day off. And I tried to give him advice, but no one takes it. I was the same. That's how I got my tendonitis. Someone said to me, you're 48, 49. What was it? you know, you can't lift those heavy weights. As soon as he said that, I thought, I'll show you. Lateral raises, 16 keys each side, no problem. Well, your muscles can lift them. Oh, I wonder why my elbow went and I could barely move my right arm for 5 months. Luckily, I'm birded off, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, you've got to rest as well. I said to this lad, I said to him, ideally, he meant, I'm not ripping into him because we all do it, we all know best, and he used to train years ago, as did I, so I know best, and I fucked it all up and had to learn again. And he was telling me about how Arnold Schwarzenegger used to train. And I was thinking, yeah, it's changed a bit since then. And I said to him, you know, at your age, like he's about my age, I'd do like 25 minutes every other day. That's what I do. You don't need to be smashing out these hour-long sets. And all that cardio to lose weight is a myth. That's just bullshit. That's just gyms. Go on, get on that running machine and that high impact. No, unless you're training for something that needs good cardio, you want to lose weight, easy. Stop eating carbs. That's it. And sugar, obviously, which is a carb. But, you know, you can't stop eating carbs and have a can of Coke. Anyway, enough gymmage. Hang on, Moody Edge. Protein for recovery, but you can't really absorb as much as you can eat. So you poo it out. You're much eater betting. Yep, absolutely. I don't do the protein powders. I used to years ago, but as everyone told me, and out here it's easy. You know, my girlfriend will cook me fish and chicken and all, you know, easy to eat, high protein diet. And I have a steak pretty much if she don't cook, I eat steak and a couple of scrambled eggs. It's just proteiner. There you go. Anyway, Bartley Walsh is on the firm. Oi, Bartley, do you and Harry want to do one night next week for this 5 of 2? Is it 2 of 5 or 5 of 2? Doesn't really matter, does it? The Bullet is on the firm. Nice to see you bald. Bald? What am I doing tonight? I called Luminatus Lutus or something. Where did bald come from? Bullet and little bald. There's no D anywhere there. Are you bald, little bullet? I don't know what's going on. I don't know where that D come from at all. Hello, old oak. Good to see you. Nice one for that little bullet. Appreciated. I've sent your video far and wide, by the way. Old Walshy boy took a couple of my whistles and a few of my shirts and my beautiful, beautiful Foster & Son boots. He sent me a picture of him all dolled up in it, looking fucking great. I was gutted. Absolutely gutted. I didn't give my cravats away, though. Don't be silly. Thing about cravat out here is it keeps your shirt clean. You know, and with all the sweat and that, so you can wear a cravat and then in the evening take your cravat off, put a new cravat on, same shirt. Otherwise, it's 2 shirts a day. I'm just going to have a look at my shirt and prove that. Yeah, look, I wore that today, 2 hours out in the 34 degrees. Look at that. As dirty as fucking Cynthia Payne. Nice one for the donation, Mr. Bullet. Pack has dropped to 5-bit. Chris, I started a carnivore diet 4 weeks ago. Feeling better already. And yes, I'm still drinking, but only once a week. Yeah, there's a lot of myths around all that. I mean, I used to eat fruit so much. They used to call me a fruitarian in England. Not joking. I'd go to the supermarket and just rob. I had a jacket with like there was no pockets in the pockets. So I could sort of put my arms in my pockets, but my hands were available to pick up fruit while no one was looking. And then I could put that in the lining. And I'm talking melons, cantaloupe melons, pineapples, a few satsumas, punnet of strawberries. I'd walk out of there like the fruit thief of Dartford, which I was. And then I'd get home, chop it all up into a big bowl like that and think, oh, yeah, no, I'm eating well, I'm eating healthy. And people would come around and go, there he is, the old fruitarian, bit of lemon juice on it to stop it going brown. That is so much sugar. That is so much fructose. It's not that good for you. We're not we are fruit eaters to an extent, but not that much. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to mention the brand name because, you know, I want to remain innocent. But those smoothies, have a look into how good they are for you. Just have a look. Just do some independent research into how good having half a litre of fruit pulp is every day. Oh, no, I have one of these every day. I'm no expert, but, you know, I've lived half a century and I've picked up a few things on the way. Thank you, Packer, for that 5-bit. Nice one. What made you get onto the carnivore diet anyway? You'll probably come on for a chat. Maybe I'll ask you about it then. Thank you, Henry. That's very kind of you, mate. Much appreciated, Kanatu. As always. Anglo likes his rare as it gets. I bet you don't even cook it, do you? I bet you're like cooking up. You just get a steak and run a lighter under it. But the animal comes in. Oh, yeah, Anglo, you weren't in here the other day. I've got a mate who's just got birded off with this girl who's inherited £6 million, and they bought this massive house in the country. There's all manner of frills. It's all lovely, actually. He's one of my best mates, and he was talking about he's going to turn it into the sort of small holding dream and get a few animals. And he was talking about getting pigs and slaughtering them. And I said to him about that, and he said that you have to give them away to get them slaughtered. And he went into all the stuff about it. He said to do it yourself, he said you need like walk-in freezers, you need all this, you know, you need to do all this certification. You have to have people come around to inspect the property and all that sort of stuff. He said, I think you can do a certain amount of chickens and all that. But I talked about all that the other day, so I won't go into it again. But it would have been handy, actually, having you here, because obviously that's what you do for a living. Hello, Kajeto. How are you, son? Good to see you. Mobius lost his Gmail details with that of all his subs. Just got lost in the mix. No worries. All right. Lovely. Well, I hope you enjoy it. It's not going to be a long one because it's nearly 2:00 in the morning. But it probably will be a long one because it usually is. And, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. Mobius, my mother died a few weeks ago, so I'm not firing on all cylinders, as you might have noticed. Hello, Azdak. Good to see thee. John B, medium rare. No, I think that's kind of what I'm doing. I think that's all right. Packer said, cut his horns off and wipe his arse. You're up for the fur, are you? No worries. Hello, Doc Shelley. How are you, son? That's right, Moody Edge. It is not blood. I was told that by someone in a rehab centre, weirdly enough. Someone told me, and Anglo might be able to, well, and maybe Moody Edge. He seems to know a bit about it. Someone told me that they paint steaks red or something, or they make them red so that they look more tempting. And if you actually had a steak that hadn't had all that weird chemical treatment or something, it's more grey, you know, like the old ones that when you go in your nan's and she goes, do you want a steak? You go, yeah. No. Looks like it's been sitting there for a couple of years. Hello, Sean. Sean doesn't like it to bleed or squill. Are you a vegetarian, Sean? I was a vegetarian for about 5 years. Henry forgot to put in his super chat. Good to see you looking well and on top form. I don't feel like I'm on top form. I always think I'm looking well, though, because it makes me feel like I am. So that works, doesn't it? Tell yourself, you know, fake it till you make it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Nigel Bontoff, pink for me. There you go. The one under, you've changed your name. Wonky eyes, lush. Yeah, I must admit, my missus goes a bit boss-eyed when she's enjoying herself sensually, and it makes me enjoy myself sensually more, which then makes her enjoy herself sensually more, which makes me enjoy myself sensually more, and it's just a crescendo of boss-eyed bonanza. All-Seeing Otto says, I hardly ever tell a lie. Okay, but I think, you know, it gets a bit semantic. I would suggest you are deceptive, not only to others, but to yourself as well, because this is, you know, that's how you survive in the world. That is absolutely how you survive in the world. You know, we've invented codes and ways of communicating and not essentially being wild animals. But verbal communication is, you know, I don't know about that, Otto. The people who reckon they don't lie have usually got a reason. I mean, have usually got a reason to say that. You know, why? And, you know, that reason could be that they don't lie. But I think humans lie about 50 times a day. And I mean that. Lie, deceptive, you could say adapt somewhat, you know. Mr. Mackenzie says, my first Saturday job was working at a butcher's making black pudding, knee-deep in blood, horrible iron taste in the mouth, can only eat food well done because of that. I had a mate, Andrew, worked in a butcher's, like when we left school, he was only about 16, and after about a week, it changed him. He couldn't cope. Like within about a week, that's the missus. She won't be happy, but she'll pretend to because she knows she's on the internet. Hello, cheeky chicken. I'm on the internet. I'm live on YouTube. No, why don't you say hello, I love you, you beautiful man?
Hello, I love you, you
Oh, love, I'll send you 3 here when finished. If you're awake, call me. Are you okay? Are you okay? All right, darling, I'll talk to you later. Bye, love. Love you, bye. So she got hit by a car. Yeah. That's why I was a bit over the top on, are you all right then? Yeah, she's not riding the motorbike. I gave her my motorbike. This is where it all gets very interesting. Let me adjust the lighting. So I gave her I only got a super duper really on my motorbike. Right? Come around this way. I only go to super duper really on my motorbike. You know, rarely do I drive it anywhere. So I thought I'll give it to her. You know, she goes to the gym, she goes out, she does this, she goes to the market. So I gave her my motorbike and regretted it instantly because every time she went out on it, I was terrified. Your imagination of what the roads in Phnom Penh are like is correct. Only at rush hour though. But because she had my motorbike, look what I had sent over from Angleterre. Oh yeah, the streets of Phnom Penh have got a new beast to deal with. Can you see? You can sort of see it, can't you? Yeah, that's my fold-up bike. So I got my fold-up bike sent over, and she had the gall to get knocked off the scooter. A horrible little story, though. It's a classic as well. Car stopped to let her turn, and someone cut round the back of the car that stopped. And so when she's come out, douche. Luckily, the rear foot pedal was out, and so was the kickstart. You know, scooters have a kickstart in case the ignition don't work, but that got bent right in. The back peg got bent right in, and you know, so the majority of the impact. I mean, she's bruised all up and down her left leg, but she didn't get hit on the head. Her upper body didn't get hit. And the shock, you know, she said everyone just swarmed over. Even the bloke that hit her got out of his car. He's like, I'm sorry. And she it's so lovely. She said, She said he delivers water, which is a really low paid job. He had like a van that had these barrels of water in. Like when I tip the water deliverers $2 between the two of them, they're like, I come bong, can eat rice. It's like, yay, you know, it's nice. You know, they carry like 6 of those things up 2 flights of stairs. So she knew that he didn't have a lot of money, so she didn't want him to get in trouble, or his boss get him in trouble, or him have to pay for the bike, which I'd have to pay to get repaired. Suddenly this story didn't go down too well. But because of the shock, she got the bike up, got back on it, said to everyone she was all right, and drove another 20 minutes to the gym. It was only when she got to the gym that she started shaking as the adrenaline, you know, is sort of doing its thing, and she just called me up. I said to my mate, my tuk-tuk driver mate, I said, "Oh, do us a favour, take us to the ATM. I've got to get something printed off around the corner for a solicitor." And I went in, he took me to the ATM, and it's only a couple of minutes to the printers. Got in the ATM, and I got a message from her, and I just swiped it off because I needed to scan the ATM. Out here, you can scan the ATM to get money. Don't need a card. And just as I swiped it off, I saw a car accident. And I was like, what? And my heart was going, boom, 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 boom. And I was just thinking, holy shit. And it said, I've been in a car accident. So I've called her, and, you know, I could tell she was pale, which is strange for a Khmer girl. And she said, can you come up? So I drove up there in the tuk-tuk, put her in the tuk-tuk, and I drove the motorbike home. But she said she's not getting back on it. And I tell you what, I'm well chuffed, actually, because every time she went out on it, I was a bit scared, to be honest with you. But I couldn't say, no, you can't ride a scooter like everyone in Phnom Penh does. That's not available to you. But I'd rather have not had a knocked off one to make that point. So yeah, that is why I was just making sure she was all right there. Anyway, I have gone on for a long time. Let's get this. I haven't quite made an hour, but we'll get this call in on the. I'll deal with the most recent donations. Thank you very much. His blog's back on the firm because I still need to apologise to him. Hello, Carl. Got back from a month in Southeast Asia on Monday. Where were you? Why didn't you come out here, you bastard? Where were you, you bastard? Got married to a local out there. Look at that. Was it someone you knew before or someone you met out here? It's a classic. And I know people who married people within a week and it's lasted, well, they're still going, 10, 20 years down the line. Amazing. Congratulations, Carl. Happy marriage. Where did you go? Well, all around here. Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam. I'm a little bit gutted you didn't hit me up, but, it's not obligatory. What's it like getting back to England after you've been out in the sun? It's a little bit chilly, isn't it? I was talking to the scrub who's out at the moment today about England, and it was very sad. But that's why I want to talk about change, which we will in a few minutes. But nice one, Carl. Congratulations, mate. Congratulations. Hello, Charlie. Thank you. And hello, Charlie Sparkles. Another one. Hello, Void. Right, I'm sure I've missed some people. Hang on, May and Brian's on the firm. Hey, Chris, I don't comment often, but I watch all your live streams during my week. I love your wisdom and perspective. Legend. Well, May and Brian. I like that. I like the fact you think I offer some love and wisdom. I do try to, but I'm not always sure I can do it. Nice one, May and Brian. MB. Hello, Neil Christie. Hello is not a lie. It can be. It can be. It can be, can't it? Not a lie. I think a lie, maybe I've used the wrong words, but it can be deceptive. Of course it can be deceptive. You meet up with some people. You don't like that geezer. you know you don't like him. He doesn't. No one else does. And so your missus says, "Oh, Chris, here, say hello. You know, this is Joan." And you go, "Hello, Joan. This is Peter." You go, "Hello." And you really want to say, "Fuck off. Just fuck off. Don't touch me for that long. Just no." So it can be deceptive because you can say it. You know, hello is a greeting, isn't it? It's a welcome. Hello. But if you're actually thinking, "I wish you weren't here," welcoming someone, greeting them is deceptive. So it can be, like all language, it's context, isn't it? Context. There you go, Andy. A classic. Pizzles on the firm. I'm not really sure you can debunk something like that. I mean, you can, you can do tests and that, but I think it, you know, if you find people who are very attractive, they tend to have very symmetrical faces. And when you try and do an ugly face, when people try and do ugly faces, they're usually asymmetrical. Ask someone to draw someone, ask someone to pull something. I've done a symmetrical one. Amazingly self-pwned. Pwnage on the firm in 2023. Walsh, have a word with Harry about that, though. We'll do it next week if you can both find a time. Aramas, right, if I haven't said hello, I will do at some point. I'm just going to run through and catch up with some donations, and I'll open the doors. Mobius has dropped a 10 spot. Have a coffee, mate. It will be tea, but I will do. I'll get about 5 for that. Nice one, Mobius. And Ayrton Senna is Machano Caprasha Canatu. Thank you very, very much. I know what you're talking about there, 42. Hello, Jack. Hello, JP. There absolutely are. You know, if you can find one of those girls who's got good English, I mean, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't there be? You know, if you get talking to a girl who's grown up in the provinces and she's had a life very, very different to yours, you can have some incredibly, you know, interesting conversations. Oh, I wouldn't know why you wouldn't. That seems a little bit of a nasty thing to say. I've met some fantastic Cambodian working girls. I've met some fantastic working girls. I think we should do it. When that Arab multi-billionaire suddenly comes into one of my chats and drops 10 million on the super chat, I'll pay for the scrub pilgrimage to Phnom Penh. You can go to Phnom Penh, though. I don't know where that is. I knew what you meant. Barry is on the firm. Oi, Barry, if you and Barclay can sort out a night next week for about 11:30 my time, which is going to be 11:30, 10:30, 9:30, 8:30, 7:30. I'll talk to you about it on Telegram. We'll get that sorted, yeah? We'll do it. Nice one, TR UK Truck, Harry's Tommy Robinson UK show. It's still going. Not James from Philly has changed his name. He's dropped me a Lady Godiva and he says, I've just, in capital, so I'll give it the gusto with which it was written, just walked off my job because they're assholes. Gonna go tour hap soon. Hope you're doing well, Chris. I'm all right, mate. I replied to your email. Did you get that? Tell me if you didn't, because it might be stuck in the drafts. What's Torhap? Is that a place? Oh, you're going to go to rehab? Yeah. All right, maybe. I didn't. When we talked the other day, you didn't say you had. You said you were using Xanax for a bit of sleep, but you seemed well pranged, mate. So if you've made that decision, great. I mean, I don't like the places, but there's sometimes just getting away from your life can be what you need, and be around people who understand the situation. You've done, you know this stuff better than me. You've climbed that ladder a few times. Take care, mate. You can ping me an email, you know, if you want to talk to me anytime. Right. Okay. Where are we? As if you're busy, Barclay. Got to bounce. Just wanted to come in and say some stuff. Also, Chris, I was just winding you up when I gave you the bird last stream. Also, Barclay, I can't remember you doing it. So, Wolf is on the firm. Hello, mate. How are you, son? Rufus is here as well with his celery elbow. Otto's no Phoebe yet at 51. I don't know what a Phoebe is. What's a Phoebe, Otto? Feeble? Phoebe. Don't know what it is. Is that some internet slang? I don't know. John B's given Barclay the TTFN treatment. Jens is on the firm. Jens, who turned up with the most beautiful woman ever, come back on, and I said, God, your woman's beautiful. And he went, yeah, she left me. That didn't go down too well. What a bad timing to compliment someone on their bird. How are you, Mr. Kappa? Hope you're well. Right, hang on. Did I just see Sally from Dartford? Sal's given up the carbs as well. Well, Harry's on the... Harry, who I recently called Barry, he come round my mum's house when I give him all the whistles, and he's just like built like he's just solid. There's no fat on him. He's just pure muscle. Honestly, everyone, it was ridiculous. I mean, Barclay's getting there, but Harry, you can tell he puts the work in. And it's him who got me onto all that, no carbs. So you've just, yeah, I think they're terrible for you. I mean, it's great. It's great, isn't it? Having a cake and all that sugar and all that glucose, and you get that, and then about an hour later, you're like, oh, fuck you know. And you do it to yourself every day. So you're up and down, up and down, up and down. And even the up and downness wears you out more because your body's not made to, or your mind isn't made to be up and down, up and down. You know, sugar's a very strong drug, weirdly enough, and half of the Western world is addicted to it. Salmon's on the firm. Sean has reminded me I called Lumi Latus. Thank you. Yeah, Jens, my mother died, mate. I'm sorry for people who've already heard that, but Jens might not know, so I'm explaining why I haven't been streaming. I don't want people to think that I haven't been about. Sal, did you get my email? It was a bit, it was a bit of a weird one. The whole situation was a bit weird because obviously me and my brother had to organise it and who to invite, who not to invite. And in the end, it was just very close family and a couple of friends. It was a very small affair. And we got done for it. People started ringing up and going, nee. It was like, fucking hell. Sorry we didn't invite you to my mum's funeral. Sorry, what do I owe you? Right, anyway. Hello, Yendor. Right, soon. Right, so for anyone who don't know, one of my heroes, not Will Self, another writer who doesn't write prose, doesn't write like literary fiction, but wants to write a book with me. He said not to tell anyone. I'm thinking not naming him. I mean, you'll all recognize him. You know, you'll all, you know I'm talking about if I said the name. And I was like, yes. So that's amazing news. So that's on. That's good. I told you my girlfriend got hit by a motorbike. And I've just had my bike sent over. So now I'm multifaceted when it comes to wheels. I might sort of glue them together, make a little sidecar. So, yeah, that's happening. Yeah, I've got a welder. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, did I tell you, my editor who abandoned me and left me in the bewilderness, he's turned up right as rain, fit as a fiddle, wants to finish my novel. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. the boy self offered me some help. He said, I'll help you, and he said, it'll be with absolute candor though. He said, I mean, it's there, but it's not there. He said, it needs work. And I thought, fucking hell, he's going to, but then I thought he won't, understandably, he won't have time to work on the whole novel with me. So although I said yes to him, I thought I was going to email him and say no. But then when the original editors turned up, now I'm a bit worried that when I say to Will, no, he's going to think it was me, and it all gets a bit, but it's for proper first world problems that. But anyway, hey, my editor's back. Hello, Rob. I'm doing all right, mate. I'm not 100%, but I'm doing all right. JP says sugar is my skag. Yeah, it's awful stuff. Truck says fruit juices can have their purposes. There you go. Not too much, so Harry. Those gay saunas, they do get a bit pissed off of it after a while. You see what I've done there? Hello, No Cat Popeye. Lovely to see you. Charlie, did I say hello to you? I'm sure I did. The boy Craze on the firm. Incredible. Right, Neil Christie, did I say hello to you? Neil Christie said, in the UK right now, you have to lie all the time to avoid getting arrested. Yeah. I think they sent nearly 4,000 people to prison for hate speech in the UK. I mean, this is Soviet Russia. This is ridiculous. You're not even allowed. I mean, this is Utah. Hello, Nicola. Nicola, your baby's 1.5. I was just about to say, that was 1.5 years ago. Have you changed your avatar? Because you still look very, very attractive. As you should. Well done on the baby. That's incredible. I'll pass that on, Joan, and I will pass that on. Lovely. Thank you. Sean's giving respect to the butchers for all the PTSD. Hello, Brad. How are you, son? Live at Boda. I don't know what that is. Budokan? I don't know what it is. I ain't got a Danny what that means, but I'll agree. You go and do that, Mr. Shelley. Rags is calling my bike gay. John's calling it tough. And Barry said I wouldn't let Barkley have it. When they come round for the clothes, I said, and I've got a fold-up bike up the shed you can have. Got up there, got it out of the shed, wiped the cobwebs off it, and I just thought, I'd rather like my bike. That would be lovely out in Bodia. I've ordered a little basket for the back so I can get my fruit and vegetable shopping in it. And go up the old. That'll get the strippers in super duper going, won't it? When I pull up outside on that, yeah. The chopper. See, Rob. It's easy to be an arsehole, but to compliment a man on his crappy folding up bike is lovely. There you go, Cujo. So it'll be the vape, but I'll have a cravat on. I'll get a nice fedora or something. I'll English it to the max. Don't you worry about that. Total gay bike. Poke the bear. Say that'll get nicked. I don't think it will. I mean, I was going to get a Honda Charlie. Let me show you what a Honda Charlie looks like. Right, my missus was so upset that I was going to get one. She was like, why you buy Honda Charlie? I said, because you can park it anywhere and it ain't going to get nicked. No one's going to nick a Honda Charlie. I'm trying to get a photo up and show you so you can see the disgust of a Honda Charlie. I wonder whether that's going to be big enough. And the thing is with that fold-up bike, people out here only nick things they can sell to buy ice with. And you ain't going to get rid of a fold-up bike. Yeah, it's just not, it's not currency, to be honest with you. Yeah. So I was you can get a Honda Charlie second-hand out here for about 300 quid. My missus was getting, I'm going to have to blow it up a little bit, but you'll get the idea. You'll see the disgust. It's I think there's 120 cc. Wow. Have a look at the Honda Charlie. Hang on. There she blows. There's the beast. Yeah, the missus was not impressed. Honda Charlie, look at it. Horrible little thing, eh? But I don't think the fold-up bike would get nicked because, well, when I get to Super Duper, I'll fold it up and take it inside. That's why you have a fold-up bike, isn't it? So you haven't got to deal with things like that. Nice one, Jens. No worries, mate. No worries. It happens. It was over in a couple of weeks. She got sick and then she died, and it is very sad, but I didn't have to see her suffer. Poor thing. Mr. Gold has dropped 100 English pounds into the super chat. I tell you what, Mr. Gold, with all the I had a corporation tax bill to pay that was already, look at me, I'm even having to talk over the top of the donation. It's so grand. And that had already fucked me for last month. And then my mum died, and I thought, okay. And when the death industry started, the vultures started circling, you need a certificate for this, you've got to go and get this, you've got to get this, you've got to fill this in, you've got to do this, that's £1,000, that's 1,600, that's this much, that's this much. One geezer reckons that he only got 300 quid of the 1,400 we gave him, and he's still arguing it, and unless it gets sorted, it's just bullshit. So I've been drained. So a few months ago I said it was double bubble because when you're broke, donate. When a donation's a lovely thing, I try and put a lot of effort into my shows, but a donation when you're skint is even better. But at the moment it's triple bubble, so that all the donations are great, but a one, Mr. Gold, very, very kind of you, and I'll now read your message. Thanks for putting us on to David Foster Wallace. Here we go. I think it's going to be just me and you on this one, Mr. Gold. I really enjoy. It's great. I really enjoyed a supposedly fun thing I'll never do again. For people who don't, he goes on to say the true retelling of his cruise ship experience. People, I can't remember whether it was for Esquire or Vanity Fair, but novelist David Foster Wallace was paid to go on a luxury cruise and just write about it. I mean, imagine having that job. Imagine being a full-time professional writer. It's never going to happen to me, but I can dream. But it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious, as Mr. Gold has pointed out here. And anyway, the true retelling of his cruise ship experience. You and I haven't interacted much, but I've been following you for years and appreciate your chipper attitude. Well, no worries, Mr. Gold. I think I can. Oh, yeah, that's how you put stars on them, but I don't need to today. I might actually. How do I do that? How do I automatically put stars on? How do I do that? Like what? That wasn't what I wanted it to say. Oh, I don't know. Thank you, Mr. Gold. Very kind. And I'm glad you're loving David Foster Wallace. Have you given Infinite Jest a go yet? And if you haven't, the next one I would suggest is The Girl with Curious Hair. And Interviews with Hideous Men is pretty good as well. But I'm so glad you like David Foster Wallace. I think he's the greatest writer of the era, even though he's dead. But I don't think anyone's going to come close. He set a new bar, and in so many ways, he's like the Thomas Pynchon of the 21st century. And, he's a very tough act to follow, Interesting bloke. I don't know if you're into biopics, but The Last Days of the Tour is worth a watch if you're really into David Foster Wallace. I really enjoyed it, and I don't usually like those things. But thank you so much for that one. That's boom. Don't know what boom is. But I did call someone bald earlier. Well done, Jimmy, for going to rehab as well. That's good news. Yeah, it'll also get you out of that horrible drum you're in where people seem to be causing you problems. Hello, Rufus. Pineapples are good for the brain. Nice to see you, Rufus. What was I saying about Jimmy? Jimmy getting out of that place. He's not enjoying his house at the moment, and that's awful. When you don't feel safe and relaxed at home, it is just the worst. I mean, worse things can happen, but he didn't. Mr. Gold again, thank you very much. So is Billy really still missing? Billy's on the missing list. No, there he is. I've just seen him. Bill, when I started the stream, the first thing I said is, let me know when Bill's in. I didn't yet get your entropies from the last stream because I didn't know I was going to stream today. I've done it at the last minute, but I haven't forgotten. And I've still got access to them. Now, I know like 2 weeks later, they're going to be out of date, but you're a very generous donator. I can understand why you might not be anymore, but you are a niggler, and that's beautiful. We need a niggler on the firm. But I really do apologise about that because, you know, if you put your hand in your pocket and they were missed, I'm not blaming Entropy for fucking it up, excuse the language, but they did. But I did say I'd remedy it, and I haven't. So I do apologise, Mr. Blogs. I do apologise. Hello, Jack Russell. Right, I've got to open this up. VC's on the firm as well. It's so nice to see you all, though. I'm just going through reading your comments. Not really a calling, is it? Right, let's get this invite open. Same as usual. You get about 5 minutes. Don't feel like I'm jogging you on because you're boring or anything. It's just we'll try and get a few different minutes in. Right. There's a couple more donations. Let me just make sure I've got them or they'll get lost and then I'll be apologising to more people. God's cosmic bollock. I don't know why that tickled me so. I'm feeling very black-pilled at the moment. Here's a super chat anyway. Yeah, I was when I went back to England. I was. But there are if it's really bad, ping me an email. I'll give you a couple of tips. I'm not even joking. I can't necessarily promise to save your life. But I went. Two things I learned. Everyone in the chat knows what they are, but I'll explain them to you in depth and how they changed my life when I was 35. I would not have been alive today if I hadn't have got those two things sorted out and into perspective in my life. I mean it. Chris@chrisdangerfield.com. If you're having a real bad time, ping me an email. There you go. Nice one on the Lady Godiva. Otto, is it really? Here's why I'm not surprised, Otto, because I was talking to my tuk-tuk driver and I said to him, I was going, I'm after a moped. I said, I've seen loads of them around, or a scooter, you know. I've seen loads of them around. And in the end, I got it up on my phone and he went, Honda Chalet. And I was like, how the fuck do you know what it's called? And he knew it. So because I didn't even know what they were called then. I just kept asking people what those weird little white, because most of them are white. So it actually is a classic, is it? Back in my day, the classic crappy little ones, what was that? Honda. It weren't a Charlie. It was something like a Honda Sunny, I think it was. Where I had a KX80 and you had kids who were about 12 on these big like 720s, and then like, you know, middle-aged men would be on these little Honda Melody and a Honda Sunny. We'd all go down, like, driving down the Thames. All the people on the crossers would have a field day in all the, like, the sand plains and that. And you've got, like, a 40-year-old bloke on a Honda Melody. The old Bill would come along in their four-wheel drives. You are trespassing and will be arrested. Stop your engines. And you're thinking, hang on, mate, I'm on a KX80 and I'm only in third gear. And you'd go, yeah, all right, bye. fly off into the distance, come up to like a hill like that, and with a proper crosser, you can just bounce up it, and all the Honda Melodies and little step throughs would just get arrested. You know, dark times, dark vibes, bad smells, bad vibes. VC has dropped in a 5 spot. Emma G has given me the call-in show. Let me make sure. Jack Russell has dropped 15 into entropy. A little something to help grease the wheels, sir. Thank you, Jack Russell. Thank you, VC, for the lady. I'm just going to make sure I haven't missed any. And then we're going to get on with the calling. Right, I think we're done. I think we're ready to go. I think, don't need that screen open. Here we go, people. Fastest fingers first. Fastest fingers first. If you're really drunk, I'll probably oof you because I can't stand it. I can't stand drunk people. I like them when I'm drunk and we're out and it's like a night of drinking. That's great. But when you're sober and talking to someone who's drunk is fucking shit. The amount of people who like, I will always help someone who's got drink or drug problems. But if they've had a drink or I'm suspicious that they have, I can't do it, man. I can't risk it. Packer.
Hello.
The carnivore.
Yeah.
When did that start and why?
It's actually be 4 weeks Saturday. It'll be.
Right. That's when. And what's the why?
Because I was looking into it and it says things like all these carbs and all the oils and stuff they use is bad for your joints, and I've got bad joints.
Hang on, all the oils they use where?
Vegetable oils and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. The stuff they cook like vegetables in. Poke the bear. I only have one in at a time, mate. Oh, I've let him in by accident. Sorry, mate. I only have one in at a time, but maybe you'll be next.
All the seed oils and things.
Good lad, actually. I think he's out in Sri Lanka, isn't he? Okay, so you read something on the internet and you just turned around to the missus and said, I'm only eating meat. Sort it.
Yeah, something like that. Although I do most of the cooking now. But it's very easy. It's cook it in butter or lard and it's meat.
Bitch.
Or egg or cheese.
Yeah.
Cheese is like a condiment.
This is what the sort of thing Harry's been telling me. Cheese is like a condiment.
What, you don't eat loads of it.
A little bit of parmesan.
No, hard cheese is better. Just like cheddar and
what like parmesan, which is like a house brick.
Yeah.
No, hard cheese.
I realised when I said it, Chris.
Yeah, I know you did. You suddenly thought it was always powdery, like you get in your cheap restaurants you go to when it comes in that little thing next to your spaghetti bolognese, and she goes "Bon appetito."
Yeah,
and then you realise that it's actually one of the hardest cheeses out there.
Yeah.
Should we touch hands to make up for it?
Okay, hang on.
There you go. No problem. It's not. So, how are you feeling? Any difference? Poke the Bear's come back. I only have one person at a time, Poke the Bear. That's why you keep getting kicked or whoever. Anyway.
I had 2 hips that really hurt and a knee, and now I've got 1 hip that hurts.
So we're talking about change, really. That's what this show's about. And that you've made some changes.
Yeah, bit.
And well, you have, haven't you? So what? Your hips? You've got problems with your hips, and you've worked out that that's probably to do with your diet. You reckon?
Well, I thought it was worth a try, and it was.
Yeah, it's working, is it?
Yeah, I've cut all sugar out as well. Because I was
How difficult was that?
And all that sort of thing. Eh?
How difficult was that?
Not too bad. I ain't got a particularly sweet tooth anyway. I'm not, a big pudding eater or chocolate or sweets or out like that. I do love it. I did like to dunk a biscuit in my tea, but that was about it.
But you could probably still do that like very occasionally, I don't think you're going to get struck down by Lucifer or anything.
Well, no, this is it. It's quite, if you talk to people on the internet that are really into it, they're like, you don't have to be like a monk. You can, have the occasional cheat if you want.
Yeah. Hello,
But
Miss Glass.
you will probably find that you won't want to because you'll feel shit afterwards.
That's what happened with me and smoking. When I started vaping, if I'd had a few drinks, I'd think, oh, I'll have a snout. You know, I'm out on the piss. I really wanted one. First toke on a real cigarette, I was like, fucking hell, shit, which was odd. Something I want to ask you. The scrub who's out here now wants to remain anonymous. Fair enough. He is diabetic, I think he said, and he was saying that liquid sugars, so drinking sugary tea, are particularly bad because of the way your body absorbs them. I'm not pretending to be a doctor here. I imagine since he's got diabetes, he's talked to doctors and done a bit of due diligence on that. But it sort of sounds sort of intuitive, doesn't it? That if it's liquid, just I don't know.
I haven't looked into it on the diabetic side, but it does it does change the way your body metabolizes food because you stop putting carbs and sugar into it, and it has to get its energy from somewhere else, and then it burns fat, but it burns the fat you're eating. You have to make sure you get plenty of salt, because I've never salted vegetables anyway, but salt comes in vegetables. You know, they come with it.
What was it? Go on.
So to get more salt, you have to eat more bacon, which is awful, as you can imagine. Do you know what I mean? Like, instead of eating bacon once or twice a week, it's 3 or 4 times.
My Kajetal says you are all ketosis all the time with the you are in ketosis, which is why they call it the keto diet.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to talk to Harry about that, but he's probably done the off by now. You know, he only comes in, get recognised, and fucks off again with Barkley, touch each other's bums or whatever they do.
Yeah, if you put loads of carbs and sugar into your body will just use that for fuel. And ignore
this is exactly what I tell people who are trying to lose weight. I've got people who are trying to put on muscle and lose weight, and I say, listen, you're going to struggle to get bigger and smaller. If you're going to go for it properly,
muscle's heavier than fat, isn't it?
But you've got to bulk up and then cut the fat. It's a full-time gig, and that's the problem with sugars, isn't it? If you can be doing as much cardio as you want, but if you've had a can of Coke or whatever before you started, you're burning that off. You're not going near the fat, and then the carbs as well, like you said, and the glucose and all that luck.
Yeah, like I saw something the other day. I think like if you imagine a tomato sauce bottle, a quarter of that is sugar.
Fucking hell,
it's mental.
I watched one of those videos.
It's all the sugars that are in fruit, and you know, tomatoes full of sugar.
That's it.
Shopping's easier because you just buy meat and butter and lard and eggs.
Hang on, yeah, hang on. That's a great joke, Otto, for anyone who remembers Tor Hat from earlier. Steve, hello, Steve. Steve did carnivore for 2 years, and it really works. Rags has got diabetes, and I said to him, "What's that like?" And he said, "Fucking shit." He said, it just totally changes your life." And I'm trying to imagine, because I have got a sweet tooth, But I eat yogurts. Now I don't eat flavored and sugared yogurts. I eat like probiotic Cambodian natural yogurts, but I do put honey in them. Now the honey is made in Cambodia. I've seen the video of them pouring it out of the hive. It's totally not processed, but it is still sugar. Honey is.
It isn't much else, is it?
I get through a fair amount of it and all. I'm just trying to think, if I had to stop eating sugar, fuck me. Although I reckon, like you said, it hasn't been hard for you. I'm all right with my steak and eggs. It's just easier sometimes to grab a cake.
Well, I was eating probably 3 meals a day and snacking, and now I'm not. I'll eat, them little tins of pilchards, like you get 3 pilchards in St. Brian. I'll eat that in the middle of the day, and then I'll eat my dinner when I come home. And tonight I had 250 grams of mince that I made into burgers, and three fried eggs fried in butter.
There
That's
you go.
it.
There you go.
And I'm not hungry. And when you feel hungry, I was one of them people that when I got hungry, I got angry. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, when I'm hungry, I'm not. I just think, oh, I think I'm hungry.
But a lot of people eat on emotions, don't they? I mean, a lot of people eat because they're bored as well. I've seen a lot of that, especially in women. And I only say that because I've had girlfriends, like one after the other. You know, I'm always doing something. I'm writing, or I'm streaming, or I'm working, or I'm reading. You know, I don't get bored. Rarely do I do nothing. You know, the nearest I'll do to nothing is watching a movie. But even then, I'm watching a movie. Yoga, I suppose, but it's physical, not meditative. I do meditate, so that's doing nothing. But, you know, there's 20 minutes here and there. But because of that, I've had relationships with women who've been in my house. They've said, oh, can I stay for the weekend? And I'm reluctantly like, yeah, no worries. And I'm doing things and they're not. And because it's not their house, they haven't got all their things that they fuck around with. I don't know, makeup, whatever it is women do. But they will eat, and then they'll eat again. And then and I just like, you can't be hungry. You know, you've just done a bowl of spaghetti bolognese 20 minutes ago, and now you're telling me you're hungry. And I do think people eat on food and on boredom and emotions.
Yeah.
That's all I'm getting for that, is it? Yeah,
Well, no, you're right. What,
yeah, but
you want me to argue here?
No, I want you to say it's very insightful, and then come back with an example.
That is possibly the most interesting thing you've ever said.
You're so close to getting chucked out.
You can chuck me if you want. I don't mind.
I'll never chuck you. Steve Cray said boredom. I think he's talking about this conversation.
Yeah.
He's not. So how long are you going to... There you go, Mike. I think you're right there, to be honest with you. I think it's the same with the gym. You know, when I go in, poke the bear, I only have one person in at a time. He keeps trying.
Tell him again.
And I've got someone in at the moment. It's thrown me that as now. Yeah, with the gym. Like tonight, I only done like 25 minutes. I've done some bench presses and some lateral raises. But afterwards, that drug hit, it's great, you know, for like 20, 30 minutes. I feel great. And I don't, it's because it's not a sugar hit. I don't plummet afterwards. It just sort of slowly, and that's why I streamed. Like, you know, it's nearly 3 o'clock in the morning here, and I wasn't going to stream tonight. I wasn't feeling great. It's been a shitty day for a lot of reasons. But after I trained and ate that steak, I just thought, do a stream. Lovely bunch, aren't they? Let's do it. Yeah. Right, poke the bear last time. He's come back again. Surely it's a joke. Right, listen. I only have one person in at a time. I can't hear you. He's talking. I only have one person in at a time. I know the fella, though. I think he's the bloke out in Sri Lanka. Interesting bloke, but, you know, he's one at a time. Now, where are we? Right. How long are you going to keep this up? What's the plan?
Well, I like it. So, you know, forever. I'll put in the message. I have a cheat day. Still go out for a beer once a week, which was last night.
When
but
you
even
go
the
out,
hangover, makes it bad now.
I know you go out for a drink. How many, you know, do it with your fingers so the missus can't see, but how many beers? How many pints? Yeah, but
I'll have 4 or 5 pints and 1 or 2 G&Ts.
So do you come back pissed? I'd be shit-faced.
Yeah, I come back pissed. I used to have what we call pudding, which is double Baileys and a single malt whiskey, all in one. Two Baileys, 2 shots of Baileys and a single malt whiskey, which is absolutely delicious.
It's just a booze milkshake, isn't it?
Yeah, basically, yeah. But I've stopped having them. So yeah, I just drink beer until I'm quite full, and then gin until I'm quite pissed.
5 pints of lager. What is that? 5%
lager?
Lager.
Chris.
What is it? Like a
draft? It's
Bishop's Finger.
It's a local ale. It's XB.
What's that? What's the percentage on that?
I don't know, 3.5, 4, something like that.
Oh, okay, so not like a
No,
a
it's just a
strong.
normal beer.
5 pints of that though, and 2 large gins, I would be on the table going, 100%. Well, I wouldn't. I'd be going like that. But I would be very.
Sometimes my mate I'll drink with, he comes and stops round on a Wednesday night when we go out and get drunk. And occasionally we have woken Mrs. Packer up.
You've come in and had a little bit.
We sat here one night. Having a big row about gun laws in America because he thinks they should be banned. And she marched into the living room. She said, "If I had a gun, I'd fucking shoot both of you." Walked out again.
Sorry, Packer, I've just got to kick Poke the Bear out again. Not even joking. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, once in a blue moon, I'm sure she'll tolerate, but you know, 4 o'clock in the morning, hearing you going for the 100th time. The thing is,
yeah. No, we're owned by 20 past 11 because we get a lift with the barmaid. She lives over the road from me, so that's well handy. We ain't even got to walk.
Oh no, that's absolutely lovely, and a little bit of a late lock-in, quick, snidey extra one after hours. You can't say that on the internet, can you? Get yourself in all sorts of trouble. I'll tell you what, this done me up. Razorlight. Do you remember the band Razorlight?
Mm-hmm.
Stupid band, just like 90s bandwagon. When the smoking ban happened, in the Colony Club and Jerry's, a couple of little members clubs on Dean Street, they were like, yeah, fuck that. You know, we're all, you know, alcoholics and drug addicts. The last thing we're going to do is ban smoking. Because they're members clubs, no one was going to complain. And it was great because, you know, when you're a drinker and you're a smoker, now everyone going outside every 10 minutes. And then that fucking idiot, Johnny, I think his name was, Johnny from Razorlight, he's interviewed in like The Guardian or something about the smoking ban. And he said, anyway, doesn't really affect me because at the Colony and Jerry's, they let you smoke. Shit. Yeah, they didn't the next day when the old Bill turned up at both boozers and said, you know, if we come down here and you've broken that law, you'll lose your license. So smoking got banned. I mean, what a Burke. What an absolute... Obviously, that's not something for public consumption. Ridiculous. Anyway, listen, you've had more than your allotted time. Again.
Yeah, get someone else on. See if...
Well done. Well done on your changes that you've made, though. That is interesting. I will continue to question you about that and see how it goes. Just before you go, though, why is that to do with the hips?
Yeah, they said the seed oils and stuff that you get in a lot of normal food and stuff like that causes inflammation.
Okay. And it's actually
cutting it out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it might not be the only problem with my one remaining painful hip, but it's helped with the other hip and the knee. And the hip that hurts doesn't hurt as much.
Okay, and it's only been 4 weeks, though. I mean that.
Yeah, not even that yet. Quite
early days. All right, Packer, nice one. Take care, mate.
Bye, Scrubs.
Ta-da, son. He's a lovely lad, and look what he's done. See, look, I want to talk to people about changes they've made. There's a saying in the rehab community: if nothing changes, nothing changes. And it's a bit trite, it's a bit of a platitude, but it's also very true. You know, I've seen people tell me about how they're going to get this done and this done and that done, and that will sort all this out. People are very good at talking about solutions, but they're better at talking about problems. And actually, I'm very impressed when people make changes. They focus on solutions and then the problems go away or lessen. I've just seen that the lovely Emma Glass, if I'm right, hello, Gerald, if I'm right, apparently it turns out she's got diabetes. Sorry to hear that, Emma. I don't know if I've got that right. It looks like I may have done, but yeah. And also Steve, hello, mate. Yeah, that was him. What a prick. What an absolute prick. I couldn't believe it. I've gone down to the Colony. I've gone in. And Wojaz behind the jump just went, yeah, you can't smoke. And I was like, what? I just carried on smoking. I was like, this is the colony club, you know, people smoke crack in here. What are you talking about? No, I can say it now, by the way, because it ain't there. The club's finished a long time ago. But he went, no, he weren't even a member, that Razorlight bloke. He came in with a member. Yeah, it's all right. I'll drink in the colony. We all smoke in there. Fuck's sake. Exactly that, Mr. Blogs. Exactly that. It's absolutely shocking. Are you off, David? Take care, mate. Look after yourself. Nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. The boy Cray wants a P for Packer. Why not? He's a lovely lad, isn't he? Well, that'll be interesting to follow, won't it? It'll be interesting to see how he carries on with his new diet and his hips. I've put the link in. Poke the Bear. You can try now, mate, if you want. Where is he? StreamYard, different device. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. But I've just put the link in the chat if anyone wants to pop in. I mean, I can do it. I reckon I've got about another half hour in me. I haven't heard from you in a while, Lutus. I still can't get over that when you were on that stream in a nice way. Lutus had just published his book. I think he might have been in the Bizarre Archives or something. Cover story, something he was meant to be promoting, and he was drunk. John Palmer will tell you why Lumi was drunk, and he was honestly. Lumi was going. I was sitting here going, for fuck's sake, man. At least tell them where they can get it and what it's called. It reminded me of that old. It reminded me of that old. What's that old? I think it was. Here we go. Poke the Bear. Hello, mate. Am I here? Can you hear me now? Yes. Oh, could you not hear me before? I couldn't hear you. I missed all of Packer's stuff. They asked for a new code and all that kind of bollocks. Yeah. And I was on my tablet. I got someone gave me a tablet, a dodgy tablet, and anyway, it doesn't matter now. Yes, I missed all that. So I reckon you've had a few dodgy tablets in your time, though. One or two, yeah. Not recently, Yeah, no. What I kept saying was, the first time you come in, I said, Poke the Bear, mate, I only have one person at a time. Wait till it's finished. Then, of course, 10 seconds later, you come back. So then I said it again, and then it just become a joke because I thought something must be up because you're no fool. And I was thinking, well, why does he keep... But yeah. Well, I'm a bit of a tech fool, but I was trying to do it on a device I've never used before, so... different codes, all that kind of bollocks. Yeah, so I'm here now anyway. So how are you, mate? And also, I want to say sorry about your old mum, because I went through something quite similar about 10 years ago with my old girl. You know, I was in New Zealand and I had to get the Mercy Dash back to England, and got as far as Kuala Lumpur and rang up my sister, and she said she died half an hour ago. So I got back to Heathrow, and she was already brown bread, you know, so it was a weird thing because we didn't know she was that ill. You know, I was talking to her on the phone every day, and then I spoke to her on the phone one day and she was slurring a little bit, and then her friend said they're moving her to another ward because it's now it is now in her kidneys, and they hadn't told us anything what it was. That They're giving her potassium for her stomach. There's this, and it's weird because I'll be honest with you, it became financial really, because I said to my brother, like, for me to get across to England and back at the current prices is going to be about $3,500, and I said with this, and I don't want to sound like I'm tight, but I had a corporation tax bill to pay, and there does come a point when you've got no money, you know. Well, Chris, it was a bit
with me, it was I wasn't that well off at the time, and I had enough money to buy a one-way ticket back to Blighty. And they said, "Oh no, she's in hospital now. She's comfortable." And then they suddenly, my brother-in-law rang me up and said, "You got to come back now." And I got the most expensive ticket. It was like January the 2nd or 3rd, something like that. Yeah. Really expensive time. Like so, I got halfway back and rang my sister, gone. But my old girl, I knew she was going to die. Every time I went back to England, I've been back to England twice in probably the last 20 years before she died. And each time I saw her, she's a big drinker, you see, my old mum. And Same. It was her liver. And then I got the call and she was dead before I got home. I was halfway back. So
it is very similar then, because I've been out here 5 years and I haven't been back. I mean, we used to speak 2 or 3 times a week, but it was her liver. They said that there's lesions on the liver. You know, my mum, she grew up in a boozer. She, you know, and her parents were alcoholics, and my mum drank every day, but not until about 5 or 6 o'clock. You wouldn't know she was a drink. She wasn't like, but she'd do a couple of bottles of wine a night, you know, every night, you know.
Well, I think I mentioned to you, Chris, once before. I don't know if you remember. You lost your father when you were quite young. I was 17 when I lost my dad. He was 44 years old. And then after he died, she got remarried, but
same, really. Same. Yeah. My mum didn't drink like she did after my dad died, when he was alive. My dad was 52 and I was 16, so it is a very similar situation.
Yeah, but it's weird how life imitates life, you know. It's just...
What I find strange about it, what I found strange about this situation is the things that it has been difficult. It's been a struggle, but it's never the things you think are going to be a struggle. There's no way of predicting how you're going to respond to these things. You know, I thought I knew a little bit about it because of my dad's death. And in a way, I know my dad died young, and that's in no way lucky, but it was the same with him. He was healthy, fit and healthy, got taken ill, 3 weeks later dead. And it was pretty much...
My dad died over a year. He had cancer. Very young to get lung cancer, and he died young. You know, but yeah, and that's always scared me. That, as you know, having to watch someone die over a long period, you know, that's something that sort of scares me. And the thing is, my old mum tried to keep it from me a bit. She put a brave face on it. So your dad's not very well, that kind of thing. And then he went downhill. Bosh, dead.
You know, my mum had cancer years ago and didn't tell me for about 10 years, and it only came up in conversation. And she said, well, when I had cancer, and I was like, what? And she said, yeah, I had cancer, you know, in the colon or something. And I was like, why didn't you tell me? She said, well, you were off at art school enjoying your life. Last thing you want is your mother's cancer. And I was thinking, you know, she was, Do
you know what? I've just had the same thing, quite sadly, with a mate of mine, Mick, from England. You know, we both married Kiwi birds, and I met him like 20 years ago. Big Chelsea fans, everything in New Zealand, and I live in, as you know, I live in Sri Lanka now, and he loves it here because he used to come to cricket here all the time, and they led separate lives. And then he told me in November, he said, I'm going back to New Zealand with Jenny. She's going to die in a few weeks. And she fucking died on New Year's Day. The poor cunt. He never said anything. He was here last year. Yeah. Like January last year, we were just drinking it, getting on the large and everything. And she didn't even mention it until he got back to England. She didn't want to spoil his holiday. You know,
it's all that sort of thing that is just, that's what I meant really. The whole experience of being around death it's not, when people say condolences, and I do appreciate that, it's nice that people are thinking about you, but the things
it's cheesy. It's very cheesy at the same time. You know, like when you've said it to other people, and then when people say it to you, they mean the best, but it really comes across a little bit.
Well, I haven't had that because I know that there's nothing you can say really. It's more like just the mark in the sand, isn't it? I'm just, I'm recognizing that you're having a hard time. So I do get that. But the things that have done me is, I'll give you an example, right? My mother always collected stamps. And she always said to me and my brother, when I die, make sure you get that stamp collection auctioned off. It'll give you a few quid, right?
I know. I saw your thing about that, and it wasn't worth fuck all, was it? In the end,
no. They've that we got back, and after they take, if it sells, and they take their money, the auction's cut, and the money we give the bloke that drove us down there for the petrol and the
20
lift.
quid.
Yeah, each. Yeah. And here's what done me head in, because on some shit, most of them were in albums, but there was a lot just in envelopes, and she had it written on it, Lady Di and Charles wedding, first day cover. And I remember
that's the one. The first day covers was always the big deal, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And I always remembered that on telly, it'd be the post office advert. Oh, don't forget to get your first day covers. Now, I added up the stamp prices of all the first day covers, and it was a couple of grand. My mother, who didn't have a pot to piss in, would spent nearly $2,000 on those first day covers, and they've depreciated. It's just a con. They're not. It's just a con. They've gone down in value.
But the thing is, I sadly I know a little bit about stamp collecting. When you buy a first day cover, it's like buying a Lady Di mug, just before the royal wedding.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a royal wedding mug with Chuck and Di on there.
Yeah.
And so, it suddenly becomes valueless or worthless. Yeah.
I put into the internet, obviously, when we were getting all this stuff together, and I typed in first day covers, and it was funny actually. It said the weird history of first day covers, and it was saying that it, much like what you just said, it's basically, it was a marketing thing. They bring out a new stamp. They make, proper stamp collectors didn't worry about that shit. They were looking for the penny blacks and the penny reds and the ones with the one that got printed with the wrong number, and there was only like 10 of them before the typesetter realised that, all that lot.
I could tell you a tale. I actually went to the Stanley Gibbons fucking factory where they print all the Royal Mint and everything. And they were saying I was about 8 or 9 years old. It was a school trip. They saying these ones, they're worth a fortune because they're misprints and they were all in the big bin. And even when I was about 8 or 9, I thought if I just nicked one, in fucking 50 years time, but I shit it in the end, and I didn't nick anything at all.
I'll tell you I remember when we were kids, we used to go and nick a bit of lead here and there, not off of roofs or anything. Just you'd find a bit of lead, and we'd take it down the scrap yard, and then weigh it off, and they'd give us like 20 quid or whatever. And I was down there once, and there was this big skip of lead about 4 foot away from our shopping trolley full of little bits of lead, and there was like a copper pipe coiled up. And I thought that probably weighs more than all we've got in the shopping trolley. And I thought if those two fellas turn their back, I'm going to have that. And they did.
Yeah, but if they saw you, they would knock the living fucking hell out of you.
This is what happened.
They're probably pikeys anyway, weren't they?
Yeah, no, they were. Yeah, they were, without a doubt. They were. It was all the Eastwoods lot. I've grabbed hold of it. I can barely lift it. I'm only about 13. And I've chucked it in our thing, and as they're lifting out our shitty little bits to weigh them, he lifted it up and he said to me, "Do you not think I'm going to recognise this coil of lead piping that I've never,
which I had 5 minutes before?"
Yeah, yeah.
It's a bit like.
Why don't you put that back in that skip before I put you in that skip? That's what he said. I went, yeah, you're all right. Yeah.
It's a bit like going around the back of the shops and nicking the old empty Corona bottles,
taking them back to the shop. Yeah.
No, not to the same shop. I wasn't that stupid. We'd just go up the road and do it somewhere else, and do the rounds.
They, all those old blags as kids were brilliant, weren't they?
Oh, joyous fucking days, mate.
I learned something about money as a kid, though, because when we used to do the carol singing, we thought if we went to West Dartford, which is where all the bigger houses are, I mean, they're still not rich, really. There's a few rich people up there, but there's semi-detached places, you know, those nice 1930s little semis and that. They wouldn't give us fuck all. They wouldn't even open the door. But when you go to the estates, you know, they'll give you 50p, they'll give you 20p. And I remember getting home and saying to me old man, I said, we got nothing in West Dartford where all that money is. And he said, well, that's why they've got money. They don't give it away.
Because peasants give to peasants.
Exactly that. But no, man, car washing was a good blag. Penny for the guy, but very seasonal. Carol singing, but very seasonal.
Easter, there wasn't much really at Easter, was there? I can't remember much at Easter.
No, I give up Penny for the guy when we were too old to do it. Really, I think we were trying to raise some money to buy some acid, and instead of making a guy, we just put one of us in some old clothes and tried to pretend we were a guy. And the first old dear that walked past, and my mate went, "Penny for the guy." He just booted him. She went, "That's not a guy, that's your mate."
What do you have, like a sack on his head and just an old jacket?
Yeah. I'll tell you what we've done, actually. We put a hoodie on him backwards and put one of those little paper plates on it with a face drawn on it. She booted him. She gave it a kick. She went, "That ain't a guy, that's your mate," and kicked him. Yeah, I don't think kids do anything like that these days. I don't think all that stuff happens.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's all Halloween now, isn't it? You know, which has been hijacked by the Americans, which is, you know, it's not what it was. I mean, I do remember it wasn't pumpkins. We used to hollow out turnips. It wasn't pumpkins. Do you remember we'd do turnips? I don't know if you ever did that down your way. I mean, I'm probably nearly 10 years older than you now, Chris, but yeah, we used to do turnips. My mum used to do it. She was very good.
Tiny little things.
Yeah, like a fucking, you know, a turnip.
You'd need,
you know, like a quarter of the size of the pumpkin. We used to do that kind of thing, but there was no trick or treat, none of that fucking bollocks.
No, we never had that.
Yeah. Well, this is in Suffolk. This was in Suffolk, so you got to remember we're probably 20 years behind the rest of the world there, anyhow.
I remember I lived up near the sugar factory in Norfolk, in Bury. Is that Norfolk?
No, Bury's in Suffolk. Let's get that straight.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I remember you saying you're in rehab up there. It's a lovely old town, actually. It's a lovely
I stayed up there for over a year. Once I left the rehab, it was good in Bury. But when it comes round to sugar beet season, it fucking stinks, man. That factory and whatever they do with those beets to process them, it was awful. You know, every day at about 4 o'clock, the air smelt of farts, essentially vegetarian farts.
What did they do? They start fermenting and they start stinking. Yeah.
What? That's part of the sugar making process, is it? Fermenting them?
Well, no, that's not part of it. But once you've dug them up, I don't want to sound a bit of a farming bore. I was never a farmer. Don't get me wrong. But I do know that once you've picked them, they start fermenting. You've got to process them very quickly. They're animal food. Normally animal food.
That's right. Someone told me that once they've done something, they go and feed it to all the pigs and that. The one under, there was occasional times where it smelled like candy floss. I'll give you that. But the majority of the time, it was this sort of farty smell, I think. Yeah,
well, the day it comes out of the ground, it smells like, well, I wouldn't say candy floss, but it's nice. You can actually bite into it. It's like eating sugar cane.
I mean, the smell of it. Never actually. Out here, they have sugar cane. They put it in these rollers, and they do
that here as well in Sri Lanka. You know, they
lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely.
They fill it with a weight drinking that stuff. fill it with ice, and it's like an old thing. But the weird thing is, those sugar canes, they look like they're dry to me. I wouldn't think there was any liquid in it. And then when they put them through that thing,
you see the pressure with the kind of mangly kind of thing they put them through. The pressure is immense. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why you get the juice out. Yeah.
They do that there, do they? It's just he just walks around his store and he rings his bell. It's only, I don't know, about 50 cents for a glass of that sugar cane. I'll tell you what, they make some nice cocktails out here using that. A bit of that sugar cane, a bit of gin.
Raw sugar. Do you know this country's really on its arse? I think like you're all right in Cambodia, and I know Thailand is cheap. This country, Sri Lanka, has been so fucked for so long.
For what reason? So this is more change. I'm interested in this. Why is Sri Lanka?
About this time last year, we were getting about 12 hour cuts a day. They literally ran out of petrol, completely ran out of petrol, and then the people whoever the lumpen proles, they marched up to Government House and they smashed into it. And the president resigned.
Hang on. I heard about that, but so what?
That was a year ago. That's about this time last year.
So the government couldn't afford or weren't buying fuel.
They just corrupt us all. Shit, mate.
Just didn't care.
They're just so corrupt. I mean, obviously you've got to be careful what
I was
you say.
about to say, I couldn't say that.
Careful what I say here, because I'm a resident now, and I don't want to lose my residency status. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say that about this place. It's a
no,
privilege.
But this time last year it was on its arse. You couldn't buy gas. Here everyone cooks on gas.
Same here. I've got one of those big old things.
Yeah, but we couldn't get gas. Literally, you'd have to queue for 3 days to fill up the bottle of gas. If you were lucky.
How were you cooking anything?
Wood. They were chopping down trees outside, the ladies outside, and they were chopping down trees and just using this old, I don't know what we call it, like not a stove, like a barbecue. It's just like a concrete thing with a metal thing, and they would set it up with. But if you're freshly cutting trees, that's got to sit for a while, or it's going to be you can't burn that immediately. They're always chopping stuff down because I don't know. It's probably the same there. They're always sweeping up leaves and all that kind of stuff, all the dry stuff. Otherwise, you get like snakes and lizards under it. So they keep the place really tidy. But everything's tinder dry, especially in that time of year before the rains come. The rains are now coming now.
Likewise here. It's a bit early here. Has your monsoon come a bit early? You shouldn't be like this already. It's not usually. Hello? I've lost you. Oh no, you're back.
I'm still here. No, it comes a bit. It's a bit weird in Sri Lanka because we're like an island. It's like being England off the coast of continental Europe. We get like weather systems going all mental. So we had fucking hot weather for about a month, and then it pissed down for the last 3 weeks, and then this week it's been monster hot without a drop of rain. But then it's going to come back. It's going to come back with a vengeance until probably September.
And you said you got residency, so are you no longer a UK tax domicile? You're a resident of Sri Lanka.
I do actually pay a little bit of tax in the UK on a property. I've got half sharing. I've got half sharing property in England. I'm not paying anything in New Zealand. If I go back to New Zealand, I might get in a little bit bothered. So I'm not really in a hurry.
So are you a Sri Lankan national? Have you got a Sri Lankan passport?
No. I can't be a Sri Lankan national. Look at me. I'm fucking pale whitey. I'm a resident. I'm not a permanent resident. I have to renew it every year. I don't know how you do it over there.
I'm the same as that. Same as that. I've got year multiple entry visa.
Yeah, that's what I got. But I have to. If I went through the proper channels, I wouldn't get it. I'm on a medical visa.
Right. Okay.
So I pay this fellow Ravi about double price what the actual visa's worth, but it takes 24 hours rather than about fucking 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I do it.
Yeah.
It costs me about 200 quid. 200 quid for the year, and that's multiple entry. And I can open a bank account here, all that business.
Yeah, I've got a Cambodian bank account. It's sweet. I mean, you know, I need one. You need one, didn't you? It's dramas otherwise. Although now it wouldn't be so bad because the banks have opened. They're doing all this global stuff now. But how long have you been out there roughly?
3 years, 3 months.
And do you see that as you're going to be?
It's my home.
You'll see your days out
home.
there.
I've got my 2 grown-up boys in New Zealand. My older boy's just about 30, and my younger boy's 28.
Okay.
And they're grown up. And I always said, when they're grown up, I can fuck off.
Yeah.
And I did. I thought I'd go away for a year, just do a bit of travelling, which I haven't done since I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
And now I'm here. And they're fine. I said, boys are not coming back to New Zealand. I'm bored of the place.
You know what? Sorry, go on.
No. That's it. And I came here for 3 months. I was going to go around Southeast Asia, do the usual thing, go to Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, up to Burma. That was always a plan. But then I got stuck here just when COVID kicked off in March, end of March 2020.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that weird little.
Were you there then?
Yeah, I can't say too much, but it didn't really happen here.
It didn't really happen here. It did for the locals. I felt sorry for the locals. If they were caught out in the streets, the coppers were out with big sticks.
I mean, they suffered, the locals, because of tourism. You know, there's a lot of people need tourism here, but they all just fucked off to the provinces where they can grow food, and you know, they know how to survive out here.
Well, we managed here. They literally stopped all the booze for 2.5 months. Couldn't get booze. We're making our own. They did.
They did do a bit of that, actually. I can remember going into supermarkets and that they had. But I mean, no. Again, I've got to be a bit careful. But if you want to drink here, you can get a drink here. You know?
Yeah. It was same here, but foreigners got it easy. And like, considering I live in a tourist resort where now it's like teeming with Russians. Well, it's not now. Most of them have gone home the last month, but there was thousands of them. But when I was here during the lockdown, there was about 15, 20 foreigners. This whole beach resort in the whole town. Wow. We had one bar, and we paid the landlord to pay the police to sell us beer.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't that bad for us. But locals, and they caught outside during lockdown, get a whack.
Wow.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I came here just over 5 years ago, and I haven't left. I mean, I've been to Thailand, I've been to Vietnam, but I haven't been back to England. I went back to England. I was disgusted and disappointed and really upset.
You went back at the worst possible time, anyhow, because a bereavement, that kind of thing.
But the changes to my hometown in such a short space of time was mind blowing. And I have to say, I didn't think. Hang on, let me finish just this bit. I didn't think this would be the case. What I'm about to say. I did not think this would be the case. But when I got off of the airplane in Phnom Penh and walked out of the airport, it felt like I'd come home, and that was a major change in my life. I just thought, this is where I live now. This feels. I felt.
Well, I haven't left. I haven't left, but that's exactly. I know if I left somewhere, even if it was just to go to Thailand for a couple of weeks or somewhere like that, this is home. This is my room. This is my little gaff. It's like yours. We all know you've got the table on the roof. We know what yours looks like. It's a little fan. I'm about 10 yards from the sea, out the front, from the rocks. Obviously, it's the middle of the night now, so I can't show it to you. But I tell you what, this is home. It's my little bolt hole. I couldn't live anywhere else in the world.
Looks like a nice place you got there, though. That bed looks a bit tasty.
Oh, that's all right. It's just an old mozzie net.
Okay. Don't really mosquitoes out here in that to need a net. In the provinces you do, but the nets out there are more to keep the spiders and the lizards out.
Well, that as well. That as well. Had a scorpion here the other day. A little black scorpion. He was only about that big, tiny little fella. Yeah, but they're deadly.
Really?
Yeah, he just wandered in from the balcony. So,
what about cockroaches?
Do you know cockroaches, schmockroaches? because they're fucking everywhere. You switch the light on, you can see them running.
Yeah, scuttling off
any which way.
I mean, I don't worry about it. I had them like that in Camberwell, but here it's about one every 2 months. And there's that weird little.
To be fair, I haven't seen one for about a month. But I think you mentioned before in one of your casts these tiny little ants. They're so small, they're microscopic, and I get them in my bed, you know, and it's a pain in the ass. They don't really bite, but they make you itch. Just minuscule, honestly. They're the size of like a flea, smaller than a flea. Tiny little ants.
I managed to eradicate the ants with the old boric acid. I don't have them anymore. I've put up with them for 4 years, and then I got on the internet. Boric acid. They love it. They get their legs covered in it. They eat it. They go back to the nest. What's that? The old raid, is it?
Mortine, yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, Mortine.
I don't
know.
I've
always got some of that. I spray my bed before I go to bed and I have to leave the room because it stinks.
Yeah, raid stinks.
But you know the trials and tribulations of living in the tropics, and I've got used to it. I don't mind it. I love it.
Yeah, well, you know, rough with the smooth in it. I mean, I you know, the weather in England done me. The darkness. Not when I went out there this time. I just thought, you know, the first time I went to Southeast Asia, I just knew that I'd end up living out here. I just knew it. I just thought I prefer that.
I sort of had that idea because I went there in my 20s before I got married. I got married in my mid-late 20s, and I was married for years, had a couple of kids, moved to New Zealand, all that. But I knew when they're grown up, I was off. And now here it is. It wasn't the plan, but I love it. It's home. I couldn't live anywhere else.
It sounds like quite the cool life, actually, because you've had a couple of kids. I don't regret not having them. I might still, but you've done that. They're old enough to look after themselves. Now you're getting back on with your life.
Yeah, really I am. And that's the other problem. I don't know if you ever mentioned any of your podcasts or anything like that, but the easiest thing for foreigners to do is once they're retired is treat every day like they're on 2 weeks in Benidorm and they drink themselves to fucking death. I've watched so many fucking people do that here.
Yeah.
Mainly drink, not so much drugs, but I've seen people die. Since I've been here, I've had about 4 mates die, heart attacks, never wake up, that sort of thing. So I'm trying to get that balance between well, I don't do gardening like most people do, you know, when they're retired, but yeah, just don't drink every day. Don't get fucked up every day.
You see a lot of blokes out here, you know, sort of 50 upwards, European, and they're doing that leaving Las Vegas thing. They've probably lost their job or got a golden handshake or got a bit of money off a parent, and they've come out here and basically they're drinking themselves slowly to death. I've seen it so many times. They're in the boozers, really? 10 o'clock in the morning, you know.
2 of my best friends are doing that as well. Same age as me. I'm meeting them for a drink tomorrow, but once a week, I can't do it. They do it every day.
Yeah, it will kill you, you know, it will kill you.
Yeah. Well, that's cheery stuff anyway.
Anyway, all right, listen, time to move on. Nice to talk to you, Poker Bear. Take care.
All right, Chris, take care, my friend. Cheers, mate. See you soon. Bye-bye.
I tell you what, it's funny when I talk to someone who's done something similar like that, because, you know, I could see in the chat people going, oh, this is nice, you know, cockroaches, scorpions and all that. But, like, you know, I've seen less. I have more rats and mice in Soho than I've seen cockroaches here. So it's no real dramas. But, sorry, 42, I will stop this rant in a minute. But I've got more mates in England slowly killing themselves than there are people out here. You know, it just happens. People get to a certain age and they just think, fuck it. And it's very, very sad. I'm sure you know a little bit about that sort of thing, 42, the world you inhabit.
Yeah.
there's a part of Bel.
Just sort of older men who feel a bit obsolete because culture's kind of rejected them.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, but there's a long tradition of drinking yourself to death in Belfast.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure
It's
there is.
and that even goes back to pre-troubles. It's just
Where does it come from? Where does the Irish boozing thing come from? Serious question.
I think it's because we like it.
You think that would mean it would be genetic or something? Surely it's historical. I mean, most people like a drink, but there is a thing. I mean, maybe I wonder if you actually looked at the numbers, whether it would be any more or less. I mean, the Scottish like a drink. They all talk about the Buckfast and all that, don't they? And then the English love a drink. That's why they're always pissed and fighting at football. I wonder whether it is actually a thing, or whether it's just a myth.
The Irish only grew barley so they could make alcohol.
Okay.
Right. Traditionally grew cows for milk, dairy, and food.
Did you say grew cows?
Yeah, right. Well,
how much is a pack of cow seeds?
Well,
hello, Richie. Nice to see you, son.
Well, you grow baby cows by getting a male cow with a female cow, and that sort of grows you one. But
bit of water.
They farmed milk and dairy, and they only really used grain for making alcohol. And then everybody knows that we make potatoes, and then we found out how to make alcohol out of potatoes, and it's what we do.
42, I'm going to put this to you, not because you're an expert on it, because we're talking about drinking. And John said something interesting here. John says, most of my uncles and my granddads drank themselves to death is what they wanted to do. And as I was saying to Poke the Bear, I've sat in bars. I hardly drink, but I've sat in bars occasionally with blokes like that. And they've the bloke I'm thinking about, he was only 55 or something, but his dad died, left him his house. He got about $500,000 for his house, left his job, came out here, and he just gets pissed every day. And I said to him, with £500,000, you could do so many things. And he said, yeah, but this is what I want to do. He said, and I said, yeah, but it is killing you. And he said, yeah, but I like it. And I think that's fair enough, actually. I think that's fair enough. If there's no one dependent on him, it's your choice.
You've got a lack of purpose, and drinking yourself to death is also known as the long suicide. It's people are just done with everything, and they haven't got that oomph to throw a rope up or jump off something high, and they go about it that way. Slow burners.
I mean, I think people should be able to kill themselves if they want. We've had this conversation, not me and you, but we've talked about it on this channel. But I think if people want to take substances, I mean, there are some caveats there, though. I don't think you should be able to do it on government money for a start. I don't think you should be, you've got to fund it yourself.
Well, here's the problem. If you phone Health Canada, one of the options, if you phone up because you've got an illness or depression or something, options.
Hang on, who did you say phone? If you phone who?
If you phone Health Canada.
Health Canada?
Yeah, right. The Canadian National Health.
Oh, okay. Right. Sorry, that's well rounded.
Right. If you phone the Canadian National Health because you've got an illness or whatnot, and they do that thing where they go down through the options.
Yeah.
For information about assisted suicide, press 8.
Okay. Hang on, did you say if you've got an ulcer?
Yeah.
And on one of the options is, help you top yourself.
Yeah. and they're going to bring that into Scotland. It's coming there next.
Yeah, Kajettles just said it. And I tell you what, I've heard, was it you that told me this before? Because it actually rings a bell now. It might have been a no chance video or something. Someone said, this isn't totally new to me, what I'm hearing. It suddenly seems familiar. And you reckon it's coming to Scotland? That's what Kajettle just said.
Yeah,
well, no, Kajettle's agreeing with you.
Yeah, but there are moves.
Let's talk about. No, it wasn't. Sorry, carry on. 42. Sorry, mate.
Right, there are moves to push that into Scotland as well.
Okay.
And the problem is, if you get assisted suicide and you get it normalized for people with terminal conditions or Alzheimer's or whatnot, and they're like, I don't want to go through this, or motor neuron disease, they will make it available for everything, and they will encourage.
A lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, plus, like, and you've also got things like the Scum Manifesto.
Oh, yeah. Lovely lady she was.
Yeah. But even Sally Miller Gerhardt, who was very instrumental in the women's studies syllabus, she done a essay, "The Future, If There Is One, Is Female," which is where the future is female thing all comes from. And she advocated that males be reduced to and maintained at 10% of the total population.
Yeah, just for the sperm.
Yeah, you know, and
alpha males like you and me will be all right, though. They'll be wanting our genetics, won't they?
Oh, no, here's the thing.
Hang on. I've got this idea that I'm going to be kept in a room and I have to fuck loads of beautiful women every day. I can't see.
No, be a medical extraction straight from the testicles for artificial insemination.
Like cattle. Yeah.
That's, you know,
they won't let you near them and enjoy it. Ew, what a man! It'll be like Brave New World, wouldn't it? Oh, get away from me! It's disgusting.
Unless there's some salmon on the go.
On a similar note, someone told me the other day about the old gun deaths, and I've got to be really careful here because YouTube are really funny with this. Well, I'm going to call them something else. I've said it now, so you know what I'm talking about. But apparently, when they say X million or X 100,000 people a year die of weapons, apparently something like 75% of them are suicides. And if you then take away, shall we say, visitors shooting each other, in America I'm talking about here.
Yes, they're American figures. You have the vast majority of them are suicides. Or self-deletions.
Unliving themselves.
Yes, unliving themselves. There's a really drastic thing that happens whenever people attempt that with a shotgun. A lot of them survive without most of the face.
Oh yeah, I mean you've got to get your angles right and imagine the fuck that.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, it turns out a shotgun's a pretty bad idea because whenever you stretch down for the trigger, your head automatically goes back.
No, you've got to carve that down, mate. You can't be doing all that fucking. If you're in the state where you're ready to die,
I
should be giving people. Don't if you feel suicidal and you seek help. I've got to say that 42. Go on.
I'm living proof suicide's a bad idea because quite a while ago I had a very shitty life. I had a length of rope in the boot of my car in order to help me understand that I had a choice, and I chose to keep going, and now I've got a very happy life.
Yeah, you have. No, that's fucking awful to hear. I mean, horrible. Now you've got a length of rope.
Yeah.
Which 30 odd points.
Yeah.
No, well, that's actually interesting because I've said this to people. I've said, listen, please just give it another few weeks because last week you weren't like this.
Emma G's actually quite fond of that length of rope.
No, it's steady. She's in the chat. She won't appreciate it.
Well, she's only after giving me a nudge about we've started watching films together, and I was going through the things, and one of the options that came up was The Warriors, which I remember watching whenever I was like 14, 15.
It's a great movie. Great movie.
Oh, Chris, have you watched it recently?
I haven't, certainly since I've been in Cambodia, yes.
Yeah, I found it was much different watching it now than it was whenever it was 14, 15.
There is
it's lost a bit
sentiment, but the soundtrack's phenomenal. The gangs are incredible. Nah, you're gonna have to work hard to not make me like the Warriors.
Yeah, Emma G was looking for a storyline and a plot and everything.
Well, there is a storyline.
That's what I said.
They get accused of killing the bloke who's trying to put all the gangs together so they can own New York, and they've got to get back to their manor without getting killed. It's a classic hero's journey, but there's like 5 or 6 heroes. What, that scene when the baseball fury? No, not the baseball fury. It's the one on roller skates come around the corner and it goes wow.
And then the dolly bird comes over and says, "He's watching you," and you say, "Yeah, I know," and now he knows that I know.
Yeah, and he's got a petrol bomb around his neck, hasn't he? On a little chain or something. And the bloke goes, "Yeah, man, we're the orphans. They write about us in the newspaper." And one of the warriors goes, "No shit." Oh, it's a great movie. I watched a film the other day. I'll tell you what it was. John Wick Part 4 or 5. I can't remember the latest one, right? And they've robbed exactly. In the Warriors, you've got that whole bit with the black woman and the microphone. Okay, buppers, it would seem our warriors, they've got themselves in the bottom, and she goes, play a bit of music, nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide, and all that. That's in the new John Wick film. The same thing. It's a mouth and a microphone saying, okay, looks like John Wick has made his way, blah, blah, blah. It's the same. It's really weird. I mean, I get the postmodern quote in old movies, but I just thought, I don't know about that. Not the Warriors. It's too well known.
Yeah.
Hang on. Are you not rating the Warriors then? Are you telling me I would have?
No. I still think it's good, but I was quite shocked that it wasn't the mind-blowing epic that it was whenever I was a 14, 15-year-old boy.
No, I mean, it's not a great movie, but it's got the nostalgia, obviously, because we all bunked school and sat around my mate's house going, and then we were being, let's be the baseball furies, we've done all that. And that wicked bit where he tries to pull that bird and she's a copper and she handcuffs him to the seat and all that. Oh, I don't know. I might have to watch that tomorrow and I'll get back to you. But there's another element of change. A lot of things do not stand up. I've never liked Monty Python. I've never liked them, even as when they were, when I was growing up in the 70s, I just didn't like them. And one of my best mates loves them, right? And this is a couple of years ago, and we were watching them together. And I said, look, we were arguing about it, and I said, find me one of their best skits. We were on the internet like this chatting. I said, find me one of the best skits, and we'll watch it together. And he went, oh, I've got the perfect one. And we watched it, and at the end of it, he went, yeah, I sort of see where you're coming from. Now, I'm not saying that in their day they weren't hilarious, but a lot of things are very much contextual to their time, and comedy is especially so, I think.
With Monty Python, my personal take is a lot of people confuse stupid with funny.
I mean,
Because I watch The Life of Brian and I just think this is stupid.
see, I was about to say then that I prefer the movies, but even then, it just seems a bit sort of middle class comedy for me. You know, the sort of kids I knew as a kid who had a bit of money liked The Life of Brian, and they used to walk around school going, "Oh, we're the knights that say neh," and I'll be thinking, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
We watched The Young Ones, which also hasn't stood the test of time. Good Lord, I tried that.
Oh, do you want to hear?
Not Cliff Richards. I'm talking about Ben Elton's Young Ones.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to hear something funny?
Imagine I said no.
Yeah.
You answered for me. You went, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, say no.
Yeah, I want to hear. I do want to hear something funny, but
Right.
you know,
Postman. I live in a block of flats, and the postman, instead of delivering the letters through the letterbox, put them on the appropriate stair. So flat 2 went on the stair 2. Flat 3 went on the stair 3. Flat 4 went on the flat 4. I spent last night writing a fucking epic complaint. I brought up about the Penny Black stamp and about the Post Office Act 1909 and bit of a said about possibly the reason why there was none on 1 and 2 was somebody used the same service button to get in and were as inept and lazy as the postman and only stole the ones from the bottom 2.
I can't. Do you know this might blow your mind because obviously I do e-commerce in America. Every day, average of 1.7 million parcels left on doorsteps get stolen.
Yeah.
1.7 million a day. Why are they still doing it? We don't live in that society anymore. You can't leave things on on their doorsteps.
Yeah. Well, I went to my happy place last night and wrote a nice complaint.
Hang on though, are you not risking pissing off your postman, which is a bit of a, you don't want to piss off your postman because.
Well, it's obviously not the normal postman because the normal postman puts his stuff through the letterbox.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, fair play. I mean, when I lived in Soho years ago, just when the dark web came out, my postman was my life. I kept him sweet, man, because I knew where he started his round. It was about an hour because what happened was I was waiting for dark web medicine to arrive. So if I was in a bit of trouble, I'd look out the window for him. Like, where the fuck is he, man? He's usually here by now. And I'll see him at the end of the road. I'd run down and go, hello, mate, trying to look normal. You ain't got anything for number 52, have you? And they'd be like, oh, fucking hell. And then so the next time he's late, I've gone, right. So I know he comes up this way. So I'd run down the road and I'd see him up the end of the other road. And I'd run down that one and go, you ain't got anything for 52 Lexington. And of course, over time, then it would be the next road, next one. Then it got to the point where I'd be where he got dropped off with his bag and he'd already have him in his hand.
Well, my normal posting, my sister had put down my address wrong in her address book, so she put the wrong number.
Say that again.
My sister in her digital address book had put the wrong number of house or block of flats, and my normal postman, instead of taking that letter, that Christmas card to the number it was delivered to, brought it to me because he knew my name.
There you go. That's exactly that. And again, weirdly, that's the sort of thing that happens in communities.
Yeah, right. But I was very clear in my complaint to say that the normal posties do a very good job and be careful with the investigation. And I don't want somebody blamed incorrectly.
Okay, no, good work. Good little caveat there. I tell you what, I had this bloke that I used to do a bit of work for, like just petty drug dealing, and he rang me up once. He said, "Oi, make me a little bit of gear on a foil, you know, to smoke heroin." He wanted a tube made and a foil with it ready to go. And I was reluctant to, because he didn't have an habit or anything. And I was like, yeah, I don't, you know. And he went, "I'll buy you 5 bags." You know, when you're a junkie, you can't turn that down. So I've done it. And he went, "Post it through the letterbox 22. And then he gave me the name of the road. It was only around the corner from where I was living. So, of course, I've gone and bought them all. I've sorted myself out first, fallen asleep, woken up, oh, shit, better deliver this. Delivered it, and then just got on with my day. About 2 hours later, phone goes, "Where's that fucking gear, you bastard? You run off with my 50 quid. I won't be happy." And I was like, "No, what are you talking about?" And I honestly I've got an envelope. I made a little tube. I got the foil, put him a bag and a half on it, melted it in. I said, "I've done it. It's posted." He went, "Well, it ain't here. We've been sitting here all day waiting for it." And he didn't have a habit, so I knew he wouldn't be sick. But nonetheless, him and his mate wanted it. And I said, "I've done it." He went, "We've been sitting in this front room. Nothing has come through that door." And I said, 22, and then the name of the road. He went, "You fucking mug." He said, "No, 24. And I went, "Oh, you might want to knock on your neighbour's door." He went, "Well, I would do that, you divvy cunt, but he's a copper." but a little bit bad, because if they had young children, you know, that could have gone a bit bad. So I do want to understand that it's not all funny. But anyone else, I mean, if that was me and I was rattling, I'd have knocked on that door and said, "Oh, I'm making a film and someone put some props through. That's it. Thanks. Bye." But of course, he was old Bill. I mean, the luck on that. And I swear he thinks I just knocked him, but I obviously didn't. I just made a real fuck up. Yeah. Oh. But you know, the amount of narcotics coming through the dark web, you know, those postmen must just think, "I wonder how much in my bag is, you know, narcotics, basically." It's got to be a fair amount.
But does that stuff not... Right, this is me being probably a bit naive, but I thought that whenever Post was coming into the country, it got scanned and shit.
Pardon?
I thought whenever Post was coming into the country, it got, like, put through some form of scanner or detector.
No, I mean, I've bought from the dark web from other countries, and I've sent stuff internationally myself, and it gets through. I mean, sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes normal post doesn't. I mean, I think, you know, sniffer dogs are so bad. I had a sniffer dog sit next to me in Thailand airport, and if his nose works, I wouldn't be sitting in now, put it like that. I think more the security is more going towards bombs. You know, they're not most. They're not interested in a fucking quarter ounce of smack, are they? It's more paperwork than it's worth. So I think they concentrate on, you know, international drug smuggling rather than personal use.
I know for a fact dogs do find explosives.
Yeah, and the ones that can get explosives, they're not trained for drugs. It's purely explosives, but they're not very good at it. It is a bit of propaganda, you know, and I know this for a fact that they're not great at it.
Well, they are good with explosives.
Right. Okay.
I know dog handlers that did that. Had a dog that was trained to search cars for explosives, and they can do that.
But think of it like this: like, I mean, if you're in a car and you've got drugs stashed, and they say we're bringing the dogs in, it's probably going to find it because it's a small area. But if you think about the amount of domestic post on one day, You know,
Right,
they're
yes.
gonna need, how many dogs are they going to need? And, you know, it's just
Yeah.
not feasible. You know, they reckon the dark net markets are worth billions at the moment because the drugs trade is now mostly the dark web. The street, all that. Why are you going to buy it off of some bastard in the street who's probably going to sell your brick dust, spit it on the floor, or they get it out their mouth and tell you to put it in your mouth? When you can just go have a look at the reviews. Nice.
Yeah. Ted saying 42 the mark. No, just to clarify, I know people worked for the prison service and the police who were dog handlers, going against the people who were trying to blow the place the fuck up during the 70s and 80s. That's a totally different perspective of things.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think you're right with that. But I mean that the dark net, you know, it's not just drugs; it's all sorts of things, and it's alive and well. They keep pretending they've got rid of it, but you know, I needed some sleeping powder for the flight home, and I got it. So you know,
I honestly think.
No, wait, 42. Look at Ted; he's a lovely lad. Look,
Yeah, hello. No worries, chum. No worries, chum. I don't know what.
Right, Gerald, take care, mate. Look after yourself.
I'm not sure what the best way to deal with drugs is, but I know that's not what we currently do.
No, legalize it all, for fuck's sake. You know, legalize it, regulate it. You know, what difference is it going to make? It's just going to take lots of money out of very powerful criminal organizations' pockets.
Medical cannabis.
Where they've tried it, it's worked, you know.
Medical cannabis is now a thing in Northern Ireland, apparently.
You know, that's the one I wouldn't legalize. All right, 42, always a pleasure. Let's talk soon about our second installment of the men's rights movement. Look after yourself, mate.
Okay, all the best, and thanks very much. Yes, we'll get that sorted. We'll get that sorted out whenever you're ready, chum.
Will do. Cheers, man. Ta-da.
Right, bye.
Now, 42 said chum twice in that conversation. I'm not taking any more, people. I'm sorry. But it's now 4 a.m, and I promised myself it would be a short one, and it's been 2.5 hours. Let's find a bit of music. It's been an absolute pleasure streaming. I always know this will happen. I honestly said to myself, just do an hour, talk for 20 minutes, and we can have 40 minutes of chat. And I've done 2.5 hours. Feel free to contribute to the grift if you wish. All donations appreciated. Entropy up there, super chat down there. Let me check entropy, see if I have missed any. I got yours, Jack Russell, didn't I? I did on entropy, a little something to help grease the wheels, a Prasha Kanata Tutti. Oh, there's another one, lovely, much appreciated. I don't forget, I've got a new channel. Links in the description. It's called Words and Things. It's going to be short form, and I mean short, 3, 4, 5 max minute videos, not lives. Thank you to everyone who's already subscribed. I'll probably get one done next week. So that's my new channel. Just interesting things about words and things, which pretty much covers everything, but hopefully you'll find that interesting. This channel is shadow banned. You know, I've had 19,200 subscribers for about 5 years. It's ridiculous. And I do get new subscribers. The Dragon's Den thing got me loads of new subscribers. But then YouTube just gets shot of a load, and it's all like Horus said to me. Horus said, "How comes you're always on 19,200?" I said, "You know, as soon as I said the N word, you know, nationalism, that was the end of my channel. This channel was growing so fast. Remember, it went. Devon Tracy mirrored a video, and it went up to 2,000." 4,000, 5,000, 8,000, 10,000, 12,000. I don't know about globalism. And there you go. So I'm hoping that Words and Things will get I'll get a fresh go at it. And if that channel does work and I can build up a subscriber base, that will hopefully inform this channel, because I'll be able to tell people, oh, I also do live streams and that. And I'll get another Dragon's Den video done soon. Someone sent me one, because I prefer not to watch them. I like, because it's more interesting if I haven't seen them. But I've got a bloke that's his job, to send me ones he thinks will make good reaction videos. Because I have actually done some that are just rubbish. I sit there reacting, and after about 5 minutes, I'm like, "This is rubbish. This is rubbish. There's nothing to react to. It's just dull." But he's hitting about 100% really at the moment. So I've got one of them. I just haven't had the time or the energy, people, and I'm sure you can understand why. I want to thank everyone who donated. I want to thank Rags and the boy Cray for looking after the place. And most of all, I want to thank all of you lot who keep coming back here, because I love streaming. It's a real privilege. And these last 3 streams I've done during this quite bleak period in my life, to be honest with you, have meant a lot. Have meant a lot to me. Pizzle has asked for the need for milk. I was going to play Mumford, but I will play Milk because it's a ridiculous song. SoundCloud household. Now, how am I going to play this? What a weird song this is. I wrote the lyrics to this on the train down to Mumford's house in Exeter when he lived in Exeter. And I got there, I said, right, I've got the lyrics. I said, let's put a little melody together. And about 3 hours later, we had this nonsense. This is called Milk. Let me see if I can actually play it. You'll have to let me know that you've got the audio. You should have, but they've changed it all. I say it every time. When am I going to stop saying it? I'm going to mute myself now, and hopefully you'll get Milk in a minute. Feel free to donate. I will be putting your messages on the screen, and I'll see you soon. Sign up to the new channel. Sign up to my Substack if you like reading short stories. And I will see you all again soon. Look after yourselves, love yourselves, and enjoy life. Ta-ta. Milk.
Strand lies, bang bangs about us. Be up, be younger, good to serve now life. The last, the final sweet land, final surround us. Still knee deep and wet, knee deep and wet. Carbon encrusted, mercenary trusted, a fastening vice from Tangier to Mexico. A lot longing, forgotten, infested. A bleak solid air between us tested. The alleyway laughs at time and half. Time and half. Splash, you can't come down now. You wouldn't want to. Spy secret immediate amoeba. Hilarious sheen means the sun stops whining. Thatched roofs. The holes of many spiders. Smile so wide.
Sorry, I missed that, mate. Yeah, I get what you're saying about Paul.
The need for me. The need for me.
Oh, God, mate. Cheers, then.
The arch bends, bows, pull strings, pulling things to mark time, arbitrary, sublime, weak of random swine. Best leave now, dear bees above the historical rub. This newfound embalming, new farming gold. This winter shade of hazy off brown knackers me. A girl I once knew nothing. A rupture suggests we better be as nothing so less than outburst in slow devotion. As old rock dissolves, a shining example of love, 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 love. chemical shoals that all show withdrawals. Sense of being good and flipping, slip you kid it, working nothing but the need for milk. The need for milk.
Hello there, Dublin. There you go, the old one.
I'm fantastic, I got geometry, it's pretty drastic. Coochie coochie tiger, where can I hide ya? Your roar's too loud, mate, they're gonna find ya. And aesthetic again. Yeah, you're looking pretty rough, son, your life's coming undone. Everywhere you go, you seem to know someone. I wanna change my life, mum, I don't know what's going on. I pick up all the pieces, fall, and then I drop them. And that's it again. And I am here now and then. 'Cause absence is everything. Yeah, and aesthetic. Yeah. Again. This is the next line, I wrote it when I felt fine. Now it's pointless, that's the effect of time. How did I get it there? Whisper it in my ear, I don't know myself, at least I ain't got my health. And that's it again. And I am here now and then. 'Cause absence is everything. And that's it. Yeah. Again.
It's still a wicked tune after all these years. I can't play New Shoes, Emma, because it's now 4:10 in the morning after I've done my pre-bed beauty treatments, which, trust me, are required. I know it's amazing to think that, but fuck me, I am shattered. It'll be about 5 a.m. before I get some sleep, so we'll save it till next time. Bless you all for hanging around for the songs. Thank you all, and I'll see you soon. Now go on. Piss off down your own end, cheeky buggers. Hoita!